This week on What We Into, the entire Mueller report.
Wait,
Page
Did you
one.
start? My bad, go ahead.
That drops today.
Oh, right. I did hear that. But no, continue in the intro. Continue in the intro.
Okay, page 1.
Oh, you motherfucker. Not like that.
My baby's in the backseat, reading a magazine. I'm in the front seat, cooking up a dirty scheme.
Welcome to What We Into. I'm your host, Lawrence Dial.
And I'm your boy, Rob Karma Robinson.
And this week, we have a very special week. Rob's going to tell us all about it. Go, Rob! What are we doing?
Well...
What are we saying? What are we talking about? What's happening?
Well, it is week 19, so we're a healthy, strong 19-year-old podcast. Yeah.
Not as crazy as we were at 17 and 18.
I think more reserved.
Yeah.
I think definitely more honest.
Still STD free.
Oh, I mean, here's hoping.
Boom.
Knock on wood. I mean, we have played Russian roulette with our podcast penises.
Yeah.
But
We're not virgins anymore. We had a girl in the podcast, you guys. She was there.
She was. It was. It was.
Drea,
It was
we
great.
miss you.
Thank you. Shout out to Drea.
Yay.
Hope you're doing well. I don't know. What
we had
are
one
we
girl
talking
and
about
two
this
guys.
week? What are we talking about?
Maybe we're pretty fluid in our sexuality for this show.
I mean, I think we're both pretty hetero. I mean, you have 2 kids, bro.
That's true.
I mean,
But
unless you're bearding up for something. Are you bearding up for me?
bearding up for
You're
you.
bearding up for me, bro?
Bearding up.
Oh man.
I'm Laurel's beard for sure, or she's my beard.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how it works, right?
I think so.
I don't know. Whatever.
But we should have a gay man on the podcast to confirm and disconfirm some of our,
Yeah,
knowledge.
we should. Just because that's a perfectly good reason
That's
to have a
very
gay man.
acceptable.
We should get another black guy too, just to make sure.
I mean, look. All I know is didn't I send you an article about like Microsoft wanting more podcasts with
Yes.
diversity on
I
it?
totally missed that deadline. That was
Well, of
3
course you
days
did.
ago.
You see, I'm actually trying to make us successful. What are you doing
Wait,
every week,
you have
Lord?
two? You have 2 headphones on?
Yes, I do.
You have one in your ear and
Yes, that's an earbud that's connected to the computer so I can listen to content while I'm talking to you. And the other one is for sound control,
Just in
because
case
you don't
you-
like me leaning into the microphone.
Got it.
See?
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, all for you, Larry,
for me,
once
man.
again. Dude. Jesus.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff happened. This was a busy
It was an interesting week. A lot
We
of
did
news.
not go see Hellboy.
I started reading the reviews like the week before it dropped, and they panned it.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, and like they all can't be lying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I would have seen it if at least 2 reviews would have been like, yes, go see it. It's not bad.
Not bad.
Like they'd have been like,
I heard it
"Meh."
wasn't bad.
It wasn't so much that it was bad, but like this is New York we're talking about. I'm not. I've said it on this podcast like billions of times. I'm not paying $20,
$85.
You know what I'm saying, at the movie theater for Hellboy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It-
I'd rather just go watch the 2 great ones with Ron Perlman in them.
Yeah, and I did watch one of those.
Did you?
Yeah, we'll talk
Which one?
about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
alright.
save it.
Alright,
Because I didn't
alright.
actually do much this week.
Oh, word?
Yeah, because there was just so much stuff.
You disgust me.
I disgust myself.
I bet you watched that Game of Thrones though.
I
Didn't
did
you?
watch it, and that's part of
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I made you watch it too. and
No,
you
well,
loved
you
it.
didn't make me watch it. I figured it'd be good if I did, so we could have something to either commiserate about or for me to just blatantly shit on for a good 45 minutes or so. Or how long was that episode? 55 minutes? Yeah.
I had a sound cue thing I meant to set up, and I didn't bring
Uh-huh.
it. No sound
Flip
cues
it.
this
See,
episode.
You see how you've seen the inner workings here, folks. I literally just put him on my back like a backpack each week.
It's Channel 4 News at 6 o'clock.
Would you like to talk about the PlayStation 5 while I go find the sound thing?
You know what? It's in my notes. I will get to that.
Because all of my news is
Game of Thrones related. I mean, I had a little bit. There was some Swamp Thing news.
I heard that too.
Yeah,
Talk
the
about it.
the DC, I guess. What was that station? What do they call it? What are they calling it? DC.
DC minus.
Whatever the
It's
DC
like Disney
paid.
Plus.
Yeah, like the like the Disney Plus, but for DC, they just halted the production of their Swamp Thing series that was getting a lot of to-do, hot buzz about it being like a good reiteration of a really classic and lovable character.
Yeah, word on the street is that they're scaling it back
because they couldn't find a cast person. Is something to that effect? Like they couldn't find a guy to play one of the roles or something?
I don't think that sounds like crap. I think they say it's over quote-unquote creative differences.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. But I think there was a Warner Brothers merger that happened.
Oh.
And so I think Warner Brothers owns the DC universe, whatever their streaming channel is called. And so I think they were just reevaluating. So I think all they really did was they went from like, we're going to do 13 episodes to 10 episodes.
So they just pulled back a few of the seasons. Okay.
Which is probably a good idea anyways, because these shows are normally about 2 to 3 episodes too long anyways.
Right. That's what's up.
Yeah. What was the deal with, when's the last time you saw like the Swamp Thing film?
Man, that's a good question, man. It's been a while. Heather Locklear was in that.
Yeah. Directed by Wes Craven, 1982.
Wes Craven directed that?
Yeah.
That's probably why I love that movie so much. It was kind of awesome.
Yeah. I remember seeing it at like the VHS rental store, and I don't think my parents wanted me to watch it not because it was like rated R or anything like that, but just because it was bad. I think they were like, no.
It was bad, but it was also kind of good.
Yeah. Did it have a sequel? I think it had a sequel.
I think it did have a sequel. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing it, or if I did, I don't recall it being memorable.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing almost all of the Toxic
Avengers? Yeah.
Yeah. Was it Avengers or Crusaders?
Toxic Avenger. Toxic Avenger, I think.
And it was a gang of them.
Yeah.
I think was it Avengers or Toxic Crusaders?
Well, there was a guy who had like the lava, or like the I don't know. Let me just
Google that.
You Google it at home. I'm not doing the work for you guys. If you want to know what we're talking about, you figure it out.
Toxic. I got to do something about these buttons. I can never see them.
Don't turn up the thing on your.
They're as bright as they can be, but
Toxic Avenger.
It is Avenger.
Yeah.
And they made like 6 of them shits.
And they had a cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon was great.
1984.
Cartoon was great.
Toxic Crusade. It could have been Toxic Crusader.
Speaking of cartoons, there's another cartoon that was that they're scheduled to be bringing to Netflix that it was in the news this week. The Transformers, War for Cybertron, which is supposed to be like a definitive kind of definition for the canon, is being produced by the same, or the animations part of it is being done by the same studio that did the Netflix Knights of Sidonia. I don't know if you ever saw that.
No.
But it's like this 3D modeled kind of animation style. Not dissimilar to Godzilla, if you saw any of those most recent animated Godzilla movies.
No. I did not.
What the hell, bro?
So you gotta like.
Why are we even talking?
Wait, the movies or the Netflix ones?
The Netflix ones.
But that wasn't. Oh, those are just cartoons.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
And this War for Cybertron cartoon is going to be done in that same style by the same guys who did both of those animes.
Okay. And you'll watch those.
I'm kind of reticent because I don't know how that art style is going to take to large moving mechanical robots.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of works because they did that Knights of Sidonia, and that's basically like robots in space,
which is cool.
The show was.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was like one of the biggest animes for Netflix for a while.
Was it Knights of Sidonia?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was a big hit.
It definitely was a hit because they made a second season.
Yes, you have to be a huge hit to get a second season of an anime.
I mean, right?
Yeah,
especially one that was made for Netflix. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those like Netflix originals.
Yeah.
Or it probably was like an actual manga that they optioned and then turned into. I don't know the history of it, but I definitely watched both seasons and found myself enjoying it.
I'm trying to figure out like how much I'm interested in Transformers, like, as a legitimate question.
What do you mean?
Because now all these movies came out. Like I played with them as a kid, but not like that much. I kind of watched.
I love Transformers.
You do, yeah.
I was one of those cats who cried when Optimus died. Like the scene where Optimus died and he gives over the arc of leadership. I was bawling, bro. I was like,
as a kid,
yeah. I still have the feels about it. I was like, that scene where the color goes out of him and shit. You're like, fuck no, Optimus now.
Like he's a 1980s like 8-bit villain, like mini boss. Like he gets red and then all of a sudden he dies and goes black and white.
All I know, it was heartbreaking, bro.
Yeah.
It's the same feeling I had in the G.I. Joe movie when. Who was it that? What was it? What was his name?
Oh yeah, well see that was more my speed. I really thought that
Joe?
G.I. Joe movie was good.
Wait. Which one? Like the live action?
No, the cartoon one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, if you go back and you watch a lot of those G.I. Joes, the stories hold up, the animation does not.
No, it's okay.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's really not. A lot
not
of it
the
is
cartoon,
bad.
not the TV cartoon.
Yes, the TV cartoon.
I'm talking about the movies, the full.
Yeah, the animated movie.
Yeah.
The animated movie is...
Don't make me go back and ruin it for me.
The animated movie is great because they were making a movie.
Yeah.
But it's the same sort of anime style that they did for like 100, almost 300 cartoons. And some of them are better than others. Like you can tell like... There's a couple. You could tell, like, by watching some of those old ones, that there were episodes where the animators took the day off. They were just like, just reuse that, reuse that shot from earlier.
They give it to the B crew,
right?
As a director will do with like the B
same thing
stuff.
with Thundercats.
Yeah.
Thundercats was one of those cartoons I fucking loved as a kid. And you go back and you watch it now, and you're like. Damn, you have not aged well, Lionel.
Yes. What's his face's name from SNL? Who's been like the longest running cast member, right? It's just
Keenan.
Keenan, yeah. So when
Fatburger, bro.
When they had what's his face, this is one of those days where I can't remember anything. But they had what's his face from Black Panther doing SNL, and they had Keenan come on, and he was like the Black Lion-O. From Thundercats.
The Black Lion-O. Just that premise is brilliant.
You must be the Black Panther-style superhero who has space-age technology. Where have I heard that one before? All right, from when it was me.
All right. Panther. Well, Black Panther was created in 1966. Thundercats are from the 80s.
No, actually, Thundercats are from Thundera, the cat planet where cats lived in harmony until Mumra made it explode. Not that you care.
Panthro.
Come on, dude. I know you guys are doing a sequel. Hook a brother up. It's hard out there for a black space cat with spiky suspenders.
Hey, man, I gotta ask, is this another one of the bad ideas the writers had that I'm in right now?
Nope. I actually heard that this was Kenan Thompson's idea, and I'm told that he stands by it.
Just that premise is enough to make me laugh.
You know what else will make you laugh?
What's that?
PlayStation 5 is looking like it's going to have a 2020 release.
Yeah. What did I? How many times do I gotta just bow and blow your mind? Didn't I tell you that?
I think I blew your mind.
I'm pretty sure you fought me on this. You were like, "Oh, we won't see that."
You were not fighting. I was on hands and knees blowing your mind. 2020 release,
bro. I like go back and listen to some of these. I've been calling this like 2020 release. They've already got look what they got in the pipeline. They got Horizon Zero Dawn in the pipeline. They've got a God of War.
Wait, what is Horizon? They're doing another one or a sequel? A
sequel.
A sequel. Okay.
There's a sequel to Horizon Zero.
So you know all about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not incompetent. I don't know the specs.
And I don't bring up the news.
I don't know all the specs behind it. I know they're going to try to do like 8K compatibility, which I think is
what
sort
are the specs, Rob?
Well, I know some of.
Talking about the CPU and the GPU.
This is what we into. You know how we get down. We get down on the barest of essential. We know some of.
Tell
the
me about ray tracing.
Kill yourself is what I would tell you.
Well, ray tracing is primarily used for graphics. It's all the same thing, and taking ray through.
Do you hear yourself? I mean, you're wearing headphones, so I know you hear your fucking self. I know that. It's clear.
North.
Just kill yourself, have somebody reanimate you, and then kill yourself.
I do know it's a solid state drive.
Well,
I know
yes,
that.
that's great, Larry. Most things have them now.
Have it really? Why did they make the PlayStation 4 a solid state drive?
Oh, Jesus. That's all.
Is it too soon?
What do you mean? To have a
PlayStation
solid?
5.
Is it too soon to have a PlayStation 5?
No, I know that your PlayStation 4
is
has like
ready
cockroaches inside it.
No, fuck
and,
you.
like,
It's ready to
pieces broken
what
off.
it is, it's ready to launch itself into the atmosphere,
Like-
like in like Sims or something. Yeah, that's the sound like. It sounds like Ed 209, like warming up. You have 5 seconds to comply.
You had to like pull a latch on the back
I'm
of the
like,
thing, you know?
turn it off, turn it off, turn it off.
Did you turn the fan away
It's
from my
gonna fucking kill
PlayStation? It's gonna
us.
overheat.
Hey, you know what? We need to stop talking that shit about my PlayStation 4. Fuck around, it actually does die
I know.
on me. I actually had this weird thing happen this week with it that I was like, where's my sound? Like, I was in the middle of a game and the sound, like,
Oh, no.
It was an amp thing, actually. It wasn't my
Okay.
PlayStation, so thankfully it wasn't PlayStation. Knock on wood.
Just the amp.
I just need you to, baby, I just need you to get across the finish line. The
Give me the
PlayStation 5 is
2020.
on the horizon.
But you're going to be one of those guys who buys the PlayStation 5
Day one?
when it for day one?
No, that's not smart.
It's
That's not
sketchy
smart.
too.
That's not smart.
They haven't figured exactly.
That's,
Why is
it's gonna
that
be
not
buggy?
smart?
Well, because it's gonna be like. First off, if you're gonna buy a PlayStation the first 6 months of any new platform, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're an idiot and you should kill yourself. And because you obviously have the money to buy it in the first 6 months, you should hire somebody, like I said, to reanimate you and then kill yourself again because it's dumb.
It's dumb. But people like that shit. They like, just like
Well,
with the
people
Apple
it's a
phones.
status thing, and they just
Yeah.
like being able to say, "Look, I got a day one," and then the swagger their gamer cock all over your face, and you're like, "I
Whoa.
don't care, bro."
Looks like I'm hitting the explicit button on this podcast.
You've already talked about blowing me like 5 times in the
I didn't
course.
say that. I said I was on hands and knees. You inferred because that's what you want out of this relationship.
Right. So when you were smashing the microphone against your
That was not on mic, though. I had not turned on the mic yet. They do talk about audio improvements, that will be a big focus.
Yeah.
They don't really go into a lot of details about what exactly that means, but
Yeah,
apparently they can make the audio a lot better.
Well, I mean,
It's already 7.1 surround sound.
right. I don't know what they're like. Like I said, I didn't. The specs isn't what drew me to this announcement. It was the games.
Yeah.
Because
Well, it's just sort of like a
It's a
no-brainer
game
because eventually they'll stop making the better games for the PlayStation 4.
I
and
disagree because the one of the obvious specs for this one is backwards
There
compatibility.
you go. I was just leading into that. I knew it.
Oh, is that what that
I
was?
was hoping
Is
that
was-
I was hoping you bring up backwards compatibility.
Well, you should. Well, if you're going to say it out loud, you should explain to the laymen who pop in.
Okay, well, I know a lot about backwards compatibility.
Do you?
What that means is that when you buy your PlayStation 5,
Go ahead.
you can play PlayStation 4 games.
Ta-da!
Not PlayStation 3, 2, or 1 games. That was what was cool about the PlayStation 3 is that you could play PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games on it.
Well, I think at the time it was like innovative. It like no one had ever done it before, especially for like the disc loading thing part of that, because we went from like preloaded games on like a home system to cartridges to better, more streamlined cartridges. Then we went to disc, and now we're sort of in the era of the other news that dropped this week is or I guess leaked this week was Xbox's.
You should see a doctor about that, man.
I don't got no goddamn leaks.
I
It was PlayStation.
I don't have no time for this.
See, and you got me saying you got me fucking up too. Xbox leaked their system, their next system, which is going to be discless.
Yes, yeah, I saw that too.
I forget what it's called.
It's a version of the Xbox One without disc.
Without a disc, right? It's basically like a streaming Xbox, which is interesting that they would drop it now rather than like right after. Well, right after
$250.
Was it Microsoft the Stadia?
Yeah, the Stadia. Yeah.
So like it's interesting that like weeks after Stadia, Microsoft throws their hat in the ring with this new concept of like streaming games through a console then Xbox like, oh yeah, by the way, we got one too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be like a new. It's not supposed to be like some kind of competitor to the PlayStation 5 or even the Stadia. I think it's just a re-release of the Xbox One without a disc, which is.
But why?
Because if you're the type of gamer that only downloads things off the internet and you never buy discs,
So like
then
a
that's for you.
shut-in? Somebody who
hermit?
somebody who doesn't like
a
it.
sad man who can't go to GameStop.
I
went
was
to
gonna say
GameStop
somebody
this week, by the way.
what's that? What do they call it when you're afraid of the agoraphobic?
Yeah.
Somebody who's got agoraphobia,
Yeah.
maybe.
This is the agoraphobic Xbox One edition.
Okay,
You never have to leave.
Now that's what they should have put on it.
Yeah.
This is the agoraphobic Xbox, whatever the fuck number this is.
It's one. It's the number one.
Bang. See, that's perfect.
It's 1S. 1A for agoraphobic.
Even the way it rolls off the tongue sounds gangster.
Yeah.
The agoraphobic Xbox One S.
Never leave your house.
Never leave your house because you can't and you're a scary bitch. Yes. No, I'm not making fun of anybody who actually has that.
So
Because that's a very sad disease.
PlayStation 4 came out in 2013.
It's old.
Yeah. So
an old
PlayStation 5, 2020, it's 7 years.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the time between the 3 and the 4.
Is it?
7 years, yeah.
That's great. Then yes, like I've been saying, like we will see it in the 20. My guess is we'll probably see it not in the first or second quarter. We'll probably see it right around like Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Yeah. At the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Death Stranding. That's the game that's going to be also. That's the Hideo Kojima.
Yeah,
Kojima.
that was
Hideo Kojima.
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who he is, kill yourself for one, because this is what we into.
Or just Google him first. And then if you can't figure out Google, go
kill
figure
yourself.
out. No. Go to the hospital, figure out what's wrong.
Well, somebody kills themselves in this equation, right?
Only if it's like the last thing that's going to happen. Did you see the trailer, speaking of killing yourself, for The Boys, starring Carl Urban?
I did see, like, just last night. It was random. It was so random, like how it fell into the zeitgeist of my knowledge. But I was like, what is this? This looks awesome. And is that Zach Morris?
I don't know, but I'll say yes. No, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, I don't think so either.
I'll
but
look it up.
We're the world's greatest superheroes. And I can do whatever the fuck I want. Huh? Who's up for that? That's where I come in.
Come in to do what?
It's
Like-
based on Garth Ennis's and Derek Robertson's graphic novel, which I believe is also called
The Boys. I'm gonna look at.
Give us the premise of this if you have not seen the trailer and you're listening.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Or not you, but I mean, I'm the listener. Sorry.
Because I was like,
that
wait,
over.
who are you talking about? Because I just found out about it like less than 12 hours ago.
I just watched it this morning.
I can give you the premise.
We are experts, and if you're listening, you have not seen it, you are not an
I can
expert.
give you what it looks like is like a superhero team or a world that allows superheroes to fight openly. Mm-hmm. But I'm not real like it was so random and so brief. I was kind of watching it. It almost feels like I was watching it through like a pane of glass. Like that's what it felt like I was watching because I don't. I think I was like falling asleep.
Yeah. Oh, one of those.
And it was one of these like, and I was trying to catch it before like the Sandman fully clubbed me with the bag.
That's like 90% of the end of every Star Trek Next Generation episode for me. Like I was looking for this morning to go through like which episodes did I watch, and I looked at them all. I was like, yeah, I remember the setup. I don't remember how it ends. Like 5, 6, 7 episodes, which is great because then I can just go back and watch them all over again and fall asleep all over again.
That's magical.
In a world where superheroes embrace the darker side of their massive celebrity and fame, The Boys centers on a group of vigilantes known informally as The Boys, who set out to take down corrupt superheroes with no more than their blue-collar grit and a willingness to fight dirty. 2019 release.
It looks awesome.
It's adult. It's a not safe for work adult.
Oh yeah.
Same with the trailer. Like there's one shot where a girl like is like face sitting on a dude and basically like smashes
Crushes his head
with her thighs.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, and there's like brains and somehow intestines in his brains. I'm like, come on, it's just there's no intestines in your brains.
I mean, it's not unlike one of the things I was into this week where I was like, I'm not sure about this.
No,
but it had a bunch of people that I was like, I like all these people.
So
Why is this not working for me?
Kevin Feige is finally going to work with the Marvel Cinematic Television universe and bringing that
Christ, thank you.
into
Jesus
the
Christ.
MCU. See, that was a
Long overdue.
long segue into the next piece of
You
news.
see how you're getting better.
I'm getting
at
better.
these.
I'm trying.
Look at you.
I'm trying, you guys. So hard.
You've been watching YouTube Universities
I have.
for this, haven't you? You can
How
tell.
to do
you can
a
tell.
segue.
You can tell.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. But yeah, because now that Disney Plus is going to be having all the Marvel shows, of course they're going to try to make them work alongside canon with all the Marvel TV,
They're gonna have
Marvel
to.
movies. Sorry.
They're gonna have to, because after Endgame drops, which holy dude, we're like a week out.
No!
We're like a week out.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I
can't
mean,
wait.
I literally have been watching Infinity War like once a day now. Like I watched it like right before I went to bed last night.
So all next week is spring break for my kids.
Oh, word!
And
So you
Laurel's
got the-
like, what are we doing for spring break? And then she starts looking up like water parks. She's like, what days can you take? I'm like, I can take off Friday.
water parks. It's still cold as fuck out here.
Well, that's
bro.
it's like
Are there any open? It's mad cold
she
out
considered
right now.
that. She did consider that.
It's April almost. It's the middle of April, bro, and it's 50 degrees outside.
Indoor water parks.
What?
Yeah, they have those. They're a thing. You
That
go down like
sounds-
Virginia, they have like indoor water parks.
That sounds oxymoronic.
Yeah, I know, right?
An indoor water park.
Anyway, so
Ugh.
she's talking about water parks, looking them up, and she's like, "What days can you take off?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can take off Friday." And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, "Not Thursday, because we're going to see Avengers." And eventually, she gets around to maybe take off Thursday, Friday, then we'll have Saturday and Sunday, and we can have like a 4-day week.
Does Laurel not want to see Avengers?
She doesn't care.
She does not
She's like
care.
you with Game of Thrones. There's
Fair.
all these people who are like, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones.
Could care less.
You know what I mean? And she's like, no.
Don't care.
She's like, I don't care.
I love that.
Because we got into
Laurel, I love that.
we got into a fight about it.
Are you serious?
She doesn't listen. She doesn't listen at all. She doesn't care about this podcast. She's like, whatever keeps him happy and not depressed, fine. I don't care, though. I don't want to know. It's like basically the secret to our relationship. She turns a blind eye.
So that sounds awesome. She lets you do whatever you want, and then
No! No, not even close.
Did I read that wrong?
Yes.
Is that
She lets you do whatever you want, Rob.
it's true. It's so true.
The truth is, you were like the marital lubricant to our relationship.
You know, I think I just got a new title for my memoirs. Marital Lubricant, the Rob Robinson story.
I mean, I'm talking about the PG version of that, not the X-rated.
Well, why are we even talking?
So basically, I go to her. This is like last week. I'm like, okay, so listen, Laurel, this is really serious. There's pre-sale tickets going up right now for Avengers Endgame, and we got to get the tickets right now. So do you want to go? Here's your times. We could go Thursday, because that's the day that drops.
Right.
We could go at 11 o'clock. We could put the kids to bed. And just tell the neighbors if they hear anybody to like check up on them, whatever. That's where my kids are at this age.
My mom used to do that shit well before we
Exactly.
were a parent.
Exactly. So it doesn't,
like,
whatever. So we have like
go to bed, don't come
it's
out.
late enough. So I'll go to work. I'll go to work on Thursday. This still is what's happening. And I'll get off at 10, and I'll walk down to the theater.
Yeah, sounds great.
And so even though she does not have work on Friday, she's like, yeah, it's too late for me. I don't, which I respect that. I totally respect. She's like, no. I'm like, okay.
I'm gonna take my day. All right.
Do you mind, honey, if I go with Robert Comer Robinson to see Avengers
It's a bro date, Laurel.
Endgame?
It's a bro date.
And she's like, I don't know. Let me think about it. And so little
Well, let him go.
little anxious me is all sketched out and scared in
this
the
is
moment,
amazing.
and I'm like, "Listen, honey, I have to think.
I have to do it now. I have to think about the numbers, okay?
Okay.
The numbers are against us.
They could sell out at any moment."
I could just see, like, the little nerd Larry coming out where, like, your shoulders hunch over and then you get, like, that teenage acne pops on the head, and somehow you manifest glasses. And
The whole time I'm like cleaning the house, putting everything away,
like the
polishing.
poor man's Cinderella, but
Exactly. The white male cisgendered version of Cinderella. It's me.
that's amazing.
And so then, of course, I'm like, okay, well, if I book tickets, I just don't want any like passive aggressive like shit later about how I book tickets and I'm going.
There
with
you
Rob.
go. That
was my mistake.
That was your mistake.
God, see you. Why aren't you married? You know all the rules.
Because that's why, asshole. That's why.
I know the rules.
That's why I'm not married.
I can't follow them.
That's why I'm not married. Because there are too many rules that are dumb in marriage. Marriage is, I've been saying it since forever. It's a dumb contract. It's a dumb contract. And it almost never favored the woman. It almost never favors the woman. So I was like, why would I do that to anyone? No, I'm not going to make anyone beholden in that way. That's dumb.
Yeah, so of course last night she's like, yeah, maybe you can take off Thursday. I'm like, listen,
I already did that.
Listen, honey, I'm going to see. I already got tickets.
Well, see, that was your second mistake.
This is how I played it. Let me tell you how I played it.
Damn it.
It's your phone again.
God damn it.
You're like the most popular person.
Listen, it's not even that.
On this podcast.
It's just shitty notifications. That's a notification that a shift opened up at
You
my
are more
job.
popular than me.
I wish that were the case. I wish I didn't spend most of my week sitting in a room just eating content.
So listen, honey, I already got tickets to go see the Avengers with Rob, but I can totally not go if you want to go to a water park. That's fine. It's just a ticket. I'm sure Rob will go, and he'll be happy that he has the extra seat.
Don't
right
try
next
to,
to him.
yo, you gotta be careful with that, yo. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
So of course I had to play it like I did not want it. Like it was not a big deal if I didn't go.
You are a piece of shit.
Meanwhile, in my mind, I'm like, it's only been 20 movies in 10 years, Laurel.
Yo.
For this one moment, but sure. Like, the alternative is not that bad anyways. I get in the car, I drive to an indoor water park.
Dude,
It's not that bad.
I mean, I feel like either way, you're winning regardless.
That's true.
So
I'm winning.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm white and I'm male and I'm winning somehow.
Somehow,
who knows?
Look, the deck is not stacked against you. It's not a stacked deck.
But I think it's okay. I think she picked up on the tone and was like, "Oh yeah, you know what?
Oh my god, you know what? You're gonna rue the day when she actually starts listening to some of these shits, and she's gonna be like."
She will only listen to these. You know when she will listen to these? She will listen to these about 2, possibly 3 years after my death. It'll take about 2 or 3 years for her to cleanse her
you to
palate.
kill yourself since the first episode, but nobody listens to me.
Yeah. I will. You know what makes me want to kill myself is that one of these shows is called WandaVision for Marvel.
Are you serious?
Yeah, going back to the Kevin Feige thing. WandaVision, which stars Scarlet Witch and the Vision.
See, in my head, I was thinking Wanda Sykes. I was like WandaVision.
No, you're right.
I was like, it would be if it's Wanda Sykes, I'm in.
It's Wanda
if
Sykes.
It's anything other than Wanda Sykes, fuck it.
Yeah, it's basically Wanda Sykes, and she can see into the future.
I mean,
and she's a superhero. It writes itself.
Let me see.
This is why representation matters.
I've been saying it every episode. I'll say it till my teeth turn white.
Sidebar. I had the thought today on the toilet. I was
ding, and here's the counter. I got to put it on the board. These
Mark
many days since our last shit
with chalk
shit quote.
I was like, is there anybody out there who's like, you know what? Representation, it doesn't matter. Is anybody saying that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people.
I mean, I know that they're saying it, but not saying it.
I think there's a lot of people saying
it's all the conservatives. Anyways, so yeah, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Which stars Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then Loki.
Which is weird. I gotta be honest, it's weird. Because typically in the team up like that, it would be Falcon and Captain America.
Oh, yeah,
in the comic books, those guys actually did work together for a long time. So much so that when Cap passed the mantle, he gave it to the Falcon.
Right, but when Captain America dies at the end of Avengers Endgame, and we don't leave the theater because we're crying so much.
That'll be you. I'm not going to cry for Captain America. I already know how this goes down.
I'm going to cry so much it's going to fall on you, and people around you are going to think you're crying. That's how much I'm going to cry.
If that happens, I'm going to leave you behind, bro. I'm going to leave you behind.
Just do me a favor. When we're watching the movie and Captain America dies, and you feel like the whole seat next to you shudder, because that's what happens to me when I cry in movies. It shudders.
You shake?
I shake.
Okay.
Don't judge me.
I'm just going to open palm slap you. I'm going to turn to you very slowly.
Yes.
Look you square in the face, and then just one good slap. Pow! Get it together.
I may need that for sure.
Get it together. That's all I'm going to say to you. I'm going to say, get it together. And I'm going to turn back. I'm not playing with you.
So WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, and their What If. And that's all going to be on the Disney Plus thing, which actually looks dope. They dropped some little like I don't know. They gave you like some pictures here. Disney drops all the details on its upcoming Netflix competitor.
Okay,
and it looks basically like an HBO kind of user interface, or Netflix is what it's kind of like ripping off, which is smart because they should.
It's a good model to steal it.
So they got Disney, they got all the Pixar movies, they got all the Marvel movies, they got all the TV shows, they got Star Wars, they got National Geographic.
You know what they don't got?
What?
Halo, motherfucker. So
see, okay, wait. You can't. I'm still talking about Disney Plus here.
Oh,
your segues are too early.
Oh, goddamn.
You're anxious.
No, continue.
Anxious in segues. Well, now it's not going to sound because everybody's thinking about what your thing is going to be.
No, my thing kind of ties in.
Okay,
so
hold on one second.
I thought it was a purpose.
I probably don't have anything great to say other than it looks cool. And it's going to be $6.99 for people who are willing to pay
for the Disney Plus service.
Yes.
I did see this price point, and the price point intrigues me, but I don't trust Disney as far as I can throw them.
In what sense?
In the sense that they own all of it now.
Yes.
They own all of it now. And $6.99 is that drug dealer price.
Yeah.
That's that like try this Coke real quick.
Hey kids.
Hey player.
Put down those.
You like everything that in the world that brings you joy? Yeah, man, I love everything in the world that brings me joy. But we got it all.
Put
it's
down
only
your pods and try this.
And cut to like 6 months after they drop, a year after they drop, they jack it up $3 to meet the.
Maybe.
I don't trust Disney like that.
Okay, so it's supposed to launch in March. Excuse me,
March.
I'm just saying
Jesus Christ.
stupid words.
You're just out here just making. You're just like
la cucumber daffodil. It's supposed to launch November 12th, 2019. So it's coming up pretty soon. And they're gonna have and we're gonna talk about the Mandalorian that's gonna be on there.
Right.
We're gonna talk about some of their other Star Wars content.
Right.
They're gonna have Clone Wars. They're gonna have Rebels. They're gonna have all of that stuff.
Right.
Will they? They're gonna have like Snow White. They're gonna have Dumbo. They're gonna have those old movies. Yeah. Will they have like the old Disney cartoons?
I mean, I feel like it's basically anything that's been in the canon of Disney, they're gonna give you access to in some way, form, or fashion.
Do you have access to Hulu?
I have access to a lot of what Hulu offers.
Right. So everything on Hulu will probably also be on. Yeah.
Which isn't The Boys what we were just talking about? I think, is that Hulu?
That's Amazon Prime. Yeah. That'll be an Amazon Prime thing. So yeah, that looks dope. It's $6.99. I don't know. Like,
what are you thinking?
I'm trying to decide if I would rather have this or Netflix. That's the question. Disney Plus versus Netflix.
That's I think for a lot of people, I think that's what Disney is trying to do right now.
Yeah.
That's why it's $6.99. That's why I'm saying I don't trust these motherfuckers.
No, they're trying to take over the world.
It's one of these pusher prices. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that what every person is trying to do though? Take over the world?
Well, no.
Every corporate person.
Well, maybe. I think there are some corporations that aren't. Like you know what? For better or for worse, I talk a lot of shit, but I think Trader Joe's is one of the corporations that.
It's funny you say that because they have a new streaming service coming out as well.
Trader Joe's
streaming for $1.99, even cheaper than Disney Plus.
Look at that! Didn't even know that, and just lined it up for you.
You have the option of taking 3D augmented reality tours through every Trader Joe's in the country. You can also watch videos on each one of their products. People just eating. People talking about their products.
That's bullshit. Is that true?
Is
you
it?
Just make that up.
Maybe it isn't.
Yeah, fuck you.
Check it out.
Yeah, he made that shit up. That's not real.
Go into your thing. Now would be the appropriate time to have a segue.
All I was saying is that the Halo TV series that had been in long-standing pre-production, they finally cast their Master Chief. I don't know if that means anything to you because I don't think you played any of those games.
It doesn't, but they cast Pablo Schreiber.
Yeah.
See, off the top of my head, I predicted
and
you knew that.
You didn't predict that.
I knew it.
I
didn't read that earlier.
Was it IO9?
Maybe. We actually got a cease and desist from IO9. They're like, guys, you're just basically stealing all of our news. No one's listening, so it's fine. But if people do start listening, you have to stop.
Wait, did they send you that for
No,
real? Oh
no.
my god! Oh my god!
Hearts. No. Everybody steals from everybody. That's what the news is now. Like, I typed in, because basically, long story short, I find like things on my phone. I'm bored at work. Then before the podcast starts, I type them into my computer to pull it up, like the name of the article. But then there's like all these, because everything's owned by like 5 different corporations. IO9 is owned by the same people who owns Gizmodo, and then it's all sold around. So like there's 5 different places that have the same exact article. Anyway, sorry. What were you talking?
No, I mean that was it. I mean, just that they had like we were talking about shows and like cast and how Disney was doing their thing. But this is a Showtime show, which I thought was kind of like,
oh, okay.
Showtime got Halo?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
They've also got American Gods is on Stars, so it's on Showtime.
Right, and he's on that.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
He's on that, and it's if you haven't seen any of it, it's
No.
awesome.
I haven't seen it. Laurel watched
Has
it.
Laurel, that was my next question. Has Laurel seen any of it?
She's seen the first season. I don't know if she's watched the second season.
What were her thoughts on the first season? Do you
She
know?
liked it a lot. Yeah.
Okay, good.
But
good.
she also likes those comic book writers and.
That's not a comic book. That's just a nonfiction book by Neil Gaiman.
Yes, she
And it
loves
is
Neil Gaiman. As
awesome.
You can see through all of the comics of Neil Gaiman.
Well, that one in particular is an amazing piece of fiction, in and of itself, and I highly recommend it to anyone. Like we're not even into the what we into section, but if we were, it would be what I was into.
Yes,
because it's hella good, the book and the series.
Before we move into Game of Thrones and then finally Star Wars Celebration,
is that all the news you had?
That's all I got. That's
Okay.
worth talking about, I believe.
Okay.
Unless you got something else.
No. I mean, there's some piddly little things I could talk about, like Smash Brothers got a new update patch that gives you the character Joker from that game Persona 5. I never played any of those, but
Did you even start Persona 5? Because I got it and played.
You have it?
No. I played it for about 2-3 hours, and it was actually really good. And I was like, but this is going to take way too much of my time.
And I think it was one of those games I recommended that you pick up and play because I figured you would like it.
Yes, and I did. Oh, I do have a little bit of news. If you're done with your piece of news.
Yeah, go ahead.
News.
I mean, that's me bebopping. No, to add to that, that character Joker, like I guess apparently so many people were trying to like download it from the Nintendo store that it crashed the store.
Sweet.
Like everybody wanted that patch with this character in it, and so it like crashed the Nintendo store for a hot second. But yeah, that's it. Go ahead.
I had a piece of news about Jonathan Frakes talking about Picard.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because go ahead.
No, I don't have it. I can't find it right now.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you brought that up because in one of the things that I was into this week was the Orville.
Yes.
Are we moving into?
My kids are into the Orville.
Dude, it's.
Oh, hold on.
All right, we're not there
the
yet?
The other
Okay.
only lone piece of news I have is Masters of the Universe, and it's been delayed to 2020. It's like G'dur. Like we knew that was going to happen. You guys
surprise,
just
surprise.
cast the main dude, and you haven't even started filming it.
Well, I mean, why is that even news? Because like that was going to be the
IO9, man.
Okay,
IO9,
sure.
you talk to us. Tell us to stop stealing your news if it's not news. If it's just obvious.
That seems mad obvious.
Yeah. But the Jonathan Frakes thing was, I don't know what it is, it's not going to be funny, but he basically says, yeah, everything's going great. It's looking really well. Patrick Stewart, he looks really engaged with the part.
Was that a joke?
Engaged.
Oh, boo. Boo. That is the next level shitty dad joke.
It's actually, it's my delivery. But it was good. It was a good joke. I was just thinking, like, how awesome is it to be Jonathan Frakes? Like, you come on, you get cast, you're pretty much known to be this one character. You move into directing, and now you're like living your life. You're just having fun directing.
I'm going to say it now because I can't wait because we're talking about Jonathan Frakes. I was into the Orville this week.
Okay.
And
wait, just pause.
Oh, come on.
Just pause it.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to go use the bathroom. We'll come back and we'll do what we're into.
Wait, you're going to edit that part out, right?
No.
You're not going to edit the part out where you
Take
tell
the mic
people that
with
you
me.
go to the bathroom?
Yes.
You fucking weirdo.
Hold on, we'll be right back. what we
What we
into
into
this week.
I mean, I feel like we should let you go first because I feel like my list is going to dwarf yours. You see what I did there?
Yes.
Anyway.
I was actually reading a text from my wife. I didn't pick up on any of that.
So yeah, you should tell us what you were into.
So I was into a few things.
My list is a little doubled from last week.
Sir, is that pages?
It is pages.
Yeah. So I was into obviously game.
The folks that hear the page turn real quick. Legitimate, bro.
Legitimate.
No, but go ahead.
I was obviously into Game of Thrones. I was obviously into all the Star Wars stuff. I did come home 2 different nights, and on one night, my wife was watching League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Good for her.
Good for you. Really? That was yours?
Look. Despite all the problems that...
I'm normally nervous.
Despite all the problems that movie has, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I know who would take over in my absence, and I think that she's in good hands with you. The second night I came home, maybe this was last night, and normally she's, because normally I come home and she's asleep on the couch because I work late nights anyways, and she was watching Jonah Hex.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
I never saw it. It's Josh Brolin, which... like it's crazy. Josh Brolin and Chris Evans are the only 2 motherfuckers I know who can like just dance all over the Marvel universe as different characters, and nobody
cares.
Blink. Like that's the 3rd Marvel character Josh Brolin has done.
Yes,
the 3rd.
So it was Cable, Jonah Hex, and Thanos.
Why do you say it that way?
Why do you say what way?
You say like Stewie from Family Guy says whipped cream. Whipped. Why do you say it like that? It's Thanos. Like what? Why? Just say it like a person.
You will always. Now that I understand the Ant-Man and Thanos is anus.
Jesus Christ!
I will never stop thinking of it. It's the anus of Thanos.
Jesus.
Anyway, anus of Thanos.
So you got me saying Jesus on this podcast like all the time now. Like I'm like Jesus, like
Jesus.
Like,
you're Eddie Murphy in Coming to America.
I feel like I'm Judas in God damn it.
The Bible?
No, the musical.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Thank you, asshole.
I could also The Last Days of Judas Iscariot.
Kill yourself.
By Stephen Adler.
You know
Curtis.
what? I'm done talking to you right now. Give me 30 seconds.
Passion of the Christ.
Give me 30 seconds.
You need to compose yourself here.
All right.
I'm not even done yet. So that's just what my wife was into. That's not what I was into.
So Jonah Hex. Okay, Jonah Hex.
So I did watch Hellboy, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
Or maybe not.
Wait, the first one.
I did, yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that. Why not? So it's pretty good.
It's hella good.
Yeah, it's not as good as the second one.
You actually prefer the second one?
I do. Because they take out, because what they do with the first one is I feel like they're scared of giving you Hellboy's perspective in that movie.
Interesting.
So they give you this, I don't even know the actor's name, I'm not going to look it up, but they give you that guy who plays basically he's like...
His father.
No, not his father. I like that guy a lot. Oh. The other guy who's like the new FBI or paranormal investigator dude.
I don't know who that actor is.
Yeah, all right, fine. I guess I will.
I literally I don't know who he is because Hellboy is the only thing I've ever seen him in.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like it may be Downton Abbey. I feel like
poor dude. I hope he's been in a bunch of stuff. So you can be like, oh, this dude works.
Does he?
No, I was thinking in general.
Oh.
Hellboy, what was that? 2014?
Jesus Christ! You're gonna ask the guy.
2004. Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say. You asked that. I don't think it's 2014. God. That seems too early.
So so here's the thing: when you're young and you're 8 years old, and you're like, man, it's gonna be forever before I get to be 9. It's like 1 year is 1/9 of your life. Yeah. But when you get to 38, 1 year is 1/38 of your life, and it just keeps stacking on itself.
Okay.
And time is just flying by. If you had said how long ago did the first Hellboy movie come out, there's no way off the top of my head I would have been if I thought about it, I could be 2004. But there's no way I could be 15 years ago.
You know how I know that time is flying by? Because I remember vividly memories of Penn and Daisy being babies.
I know.
Like Daisy not being able to talk.
Yeah.
Or
nice?
she even when I met her, she was talking full sentences but like it was still kind of scattered. Like, but it was very specific. Like Daisy talked early, and surprising to me, very early in these sentences, I was like, "Yo, you got a smart ass kid right there."
Yeah.
We should put her on a motorcycle.
We should kill her immediately.
Kill her immediately. The girl had no fear, and she bounced like a gummy bear. I was like, "Yo, action sports, Larry.
Yeah.
If you had only listened to me then, you'd be set right now."
It's hard to do action sports
when you're poor. Yes,
when you're
that. Yes,
I was going to say when you're in New York, but sure. Also when you're in New York and also poor. Potentially those two things are related. You can, however, make a podcast.
Easily.
Not that hard.
Easily.
So 2004, what is this actor's name? Whatever, who cares?
Doesn't
Ron
matter.
Perlman, John Hurt, Selma Blair, Robert Evans as John Myers.
Oh, Robert Evans. Maybe
Right.
he's Chris Evans' little brother.
Oh, he's actually also 4 years older. 5 years older than you and 4 years older than me.
No shit.
Yep. He's done, let's see, after Hellboy,
Whole bunch of nothing.
I mean, he's done about 6 or 7 different things, none of which I've seen. So,
Name 2 of them. Maybe I've seen
he did a bunch of television too. Let's see. So he did movie-wise, he did a movie called The Canal in 2014. He did Tank 432 in 2015.
I know it.
And American Pastoral in 2016.
I know it.
Oh, yeah?
I know both. I know the last 2. I didn't see them.
Okay.
But I know them.
And
He was
then
in those, though. Okay.
television-wise, you know what? He's Frank in The Man in the High Castle.
Don't remember much of it because I only got through about half of that first season.
Yeah, I watched the first season and kind of got into it, and then by the time the second season came out, I couldn't re-engage myself.
It's a very lugubriously paced show. I did like initially what I was watching, and I wanted to keep up with it because I like the actress who was one of the main leads. I liked her, and I wanted to see kind of this spin on it was basically like a what if the Nazis had won kind of thing. And I was like, this is the premise alone was enough to be like, okay, great.
Yeah.
And the actors in it are Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung. The actor who played Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat, he's in it. I forget his name, but he's been in, like, his canon is large.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Mortal Kombat, he's actually playing, they motion captured him for Mortal Kombat 11. So the character of Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat 11 is that guy.
Oh.
And he voices it.
That's cool. I didn't read that article in the Game Informer that came out this
About
week.
Mortal Kombat 11?
Yeah.
Oh, did it come out this week?
Yeah. I thought you got it.
No, but I've just been...
that's what you were referencing.
They've been teasing... No, they've just been dropping... every couple of days, they've been just dropping gameplay for the characters on the roster for Mortal Kombat. So I'm not going to pick it up, but I love those Mortal Kombat games. So I've just been looking at the gameplay for each character that they drop and their fatalities and all that stuff.
Again, that would be a game like if we lived together.
Right. Like if my friends weren't all raising children right now, I would definitely pick a Mortal Kombat and be like, bro, pick a Mortal Kombat so I could pull your spine through your asshole.
You know, I think we should do this.
What? Do what?
Live together.
Mm-hmm. I don't
Let's do it.
I don't think it'll work.
Let's make you a married man with children.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky
Let's make this like a weird New York version of Full House.
Like, the only way that this could ever go down is if this was a throuple, and Laurel is never gonna go for that.
You'd be over it real quick. You'd be over it real quick. Not because of her.
No.
Solely because of me.
I think,
Larry, this is weird, and I'm tired of it.
I think the only reason I'd be over it is if I had to live in the house with, like, in this space.
Exactly.
Like if this was like our living arrangement,
I think it would grow.
It could only work if we had enough space for everybody to have their own thing. It's the only way it would work.
So this guy, whatever his name is, I already forgot. Robert Evans. He also did the Cube video game, which was a free download for a while on the PlayStation Network, and it was fun. You would move around, and it was just like a first-person perspective. You could see your hands. It was very puzzle-based. And each hand did like a different thing that activated a different kind of puzzle. Huh. And you had to move around in this like cube type space. It was cool.
He did the voice for it or something?
Yeah, looks like it.
Wow, okay.
This 2011, and he did theater wise. He did Life is a Dream at the Dunmar Warehouse and Fear at the Bush Theater in 2013. So he was
working.
Yeah, he was working.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so sure, fine.
I just literally never seen him in anything.
Robert Evans, why don't you promote us once in a while, huh? Talk about what we're into.
Life could be a dream.
So the other thing that I was into, besides falling asleep to episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, I watched, what did I watch? I watched Mr. Robot. I'm trying to get back into the third season of that.
Word.
It's good. You know, I mean, Mr. Robot is they started with their first season and everybody kind of went crazy for it. Then they came out with their second season. This is on USA, directed by Sam Esmail. And their second season was very convoluted and did one of those things where, like, there were so many twists and turns that by the end of the season you realized that you were pretty much back to where the first season ended. So people were not crazy about that. But the third season is supposed to be a lot more action-packed and interesting, and so far so good, you know?
Okay.
It's always a weird thing when you're watching one of your friends. But for the most part, that show kind of like, I'll turn it on, I'm like, oh yeah, there's Rami! And then I'll get kind of used to him.
Uh-huh.
You know, I have no clue if I know that he's a good actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't really have an objective take on Rami. You know what I mean?
It's same. I mean, he's, you know, we were in the same acting class together.
Yeah.
So for
That's gonna
me,
be even weirder for you.
It's so weird because, like, I see him and I'm like I see the Rami-isms.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I see all the stuff that, like, Lank and Chrissy and all those guys tried to, like, take away from us and, like, separate us from, like, the habitual things that we do.
Don't be you.
Yeah, you know,
be something else.
Be something. You know what I'm saying?
But also mind those personal demons and dramas,
right?
Because that'll help you cry when you need to.
So it's really weird for me to see him. Like I remember I watched that first season, and what the biggest takeaway I took from it was like, wow, Rami is doing good work.
Yes.
But what he has done is he has found a relationship where whoever was writing for him, understood the kind of actor that Rami was.
Yeah.
So like the writing for me took a little bit more of the forefront in that first season for me because I was like, damn.
Yeah.
It took all of the Rami-isms, the things that like he had been known to do in an acting class.
Hey, buddy. That kind of shit,
yeah, and sort of build it into a character that is compelling and interesting to watch, and you want to kind of like see how he ends up. You know what I'm saying? So like I was like, good on you for building that relationship right there, my G.
But I've definitely read the pilot to the first episode of the first season, and he's a lot in that character as well. Like there's a lot of that anxiety, a lot of that stress.
Like in watching that first season and watching I forget the character's name. You probably know Elliot. Yeah, I was like, yo, that's a lot of Rami right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll keep you updated on, but it's good. I mean, It's one of those tough kind of cerebral shows that like the more
you have to watch it. That's
the more
it's not
engaged,
one of those like you can put it on and like do other things. Even like the way that I ingest media these days is I'm usually watching multiple screens of like I was watching Twilight Zone reruns of the old one while I was watching like some of the new ones.
So you did get into that?
Yeah, I did get into it this week. Yeah. But like with a show like Mr. Robot, you can't do a dual. You can't be
it's
dual,
full. Yeah,
dual
even
focus.
even like the time break between the seasons is tough because it's just
because it breaks up the momentum.
Yeah,
of
it breaks
what
up the
is
momentum. Your brain is going off on part of the fun of watching the show is imagining where it could go or what's going to happen. And you lose those threads during a long period break.
What was really good about the show, this is what I'll credit the writing for. It's because I'm very good about predicting the outcomes of seasons of things just off of the first couple of episodes. And Mr. Robot is one of the few shows that I can honestly say that I couldn't predict the outcome of how Elliot was going to end in that, at least in that first season.
Yeah,
I don't know if I go back now and kind of knowing how they kind of you know how the pieces all kind of fit together now. Like if I could do it to the end of say the third season, but definitely for that first season watch through, I was like, wow, this is really good because I have no idea how this is connecting or like all these events are going to play out in.
Yeah.
So it was great in that way.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. I mean, almost to its detriment, you can't predict it because it tries so hard to be unpredictable. And I think the third season is kind of trying to correct that a little bit and be less unpredictable for the sake of being unpredictable. You know, because that gets tiresome.
Less novel
as well.
for that sense.
Yeah. So talk to me about what you got into.
Oh man, well, this is because last week I forgot my book, so there was a lot of these things kind of doubled
you
up.
didn't forget it. You brought the wrong book. You brought your murder book.
Oh right, I brought my Death Note book, and I didn't want to use that.
Nobody knows that reference because nobody watched that movie because it was not that good.
I was not gonna watch that movie. That movie, like the trailer for it looked trash, and honestly, I think that anime gets a lot more credit than it kind of deserves. It definitely is it's good because it's mad cerebral, but like it really is a lot of like characters' inner thoughts being shown to you while you're like, does he know that I'm the killer? Does it like that kind of thing? And I'm like, this is corny as fuck. Like the premise of surrounding it is great and interesting, but the execution of like some of these scenes where like Light meets him and they're having their own internal monologues while they're looking at each other and then they start talking to each other. It's corny. Yeah, it's corny. But my God. So it's been an interesting week. I'm gonna say what I was into, like the throwaways, and then I'll circle back to the ones that made the star list. Because I now
you got a star list.
I got a star list. Like,
oh my God, you actually do have little
little asterisks,
5th grade
things.
stars.
Yeah, dude. Like and
stickers next to those.
It's a way of.
I can see you at home being like, sticker for me.
It's a way of denoting what was worth
green
talking about in depth on the on what we were into.
You have to pare it down.
Yeah, I have to pare it down.
We can make this 5 hours. I mean, easily.
I got to pare it down.
Everybody's like, oh God, we know. Shut up. Just
so
keep
it
going.
started. I started the week being into Sabrina. I went back to
the second season.
Yeah,
my wife was also into that.
I went back into that, and this is what I'll say about it. I don't think we should be able to. I don't think we should call it Sabrina. Well, we don't. It's not Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yeah. It's not that.
Sabrina
it's Sabrina
20-something witch.
It's something else. I mean, she's definitely a teenager because she's in high school, and all the surrounding supporting characters. It's a high school drama. It's basically like if you took a Dawson's Creek and mashed it up with Sabrina. Yeah. So it's not really Sabrina. It's not Sabrina. It's not the Sabrina that we grew up with a talking cat, and it's kind of like tongue in cheek. Like they make a lot of like honestly,
to good results. I think
it's interesting because for me, I felt like in the way of like as far as the show, it's really compelling and good to watch. But I think it does some really bad things for people who of the faith Wiccan. I think it paints them in a really kind of weird and off-putting. Like if I was like practicing Wiccan, I'd be like, yo, this shit is mad offensive. To be honest with you, this shit is a little bit offensive.
But nobody gets offended these days.
Well, right. So I'm just gonna leave that where it is. Nobody gets offended these days, and check.
Period. No room for discussion.
The next thing was the Gentleman's Guide to Knife Fighting.
Ooh, what is that?
Which is it's an Australian sketch comedy show. And all I can say is it has its moments, and I think it's more charming than it actually is because of the accent.
That always helps.
It may be like a lot of what I was watching.
Elegant
like,
Gentleman's Guide to Knife Fighting.
Yeah,
elegant.
Like it seems real elegant, but it's real rough and blocky. So I like the juxtaposition of it. I went maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and I was like, all right, that's enough. That's enough.
Done. Got it and
that's
done.
Enough. Star Trek Discovery made the list again.
Oh yeah, I did watch that as well. What did you think?
I feel like this show has jumped the shark.
I know it has.
I feel like it's jumped the shark. And you know why it is? Because they are making this show all about Michael Burnham's character.
Yes, I agree.
And
Laurel hates it.
She's right to hate it because in no other Star Wars iteration have they ever made the show specifically just about one character's journey.
Yeah, certainly Picard, the new TV show, won't be all about one character's journey.
Well, I feel like that should be the Divergent. That should be that way.
Yeah.
if you're gonna call it the Star, like I think that one is called Picard, isn't it?
It is.
It's called Picard.
Yeah.
This one is called Star Trek Discovery, not Star Trek the Michael Burnham show.
Yeah, but to be honest, like I would sit there and watch Patrick Stewart play Jean-Luc Picard just eating an appetizer.
Yeah, because he's Patrick fucking Stewart.
Here's 45 minutes of Jean-Luc Picard eating a bruschetta.
It's Patrick fucking Stewart. He's earned that.
Yeah.
Being that he's almost 80 years old and he's been a dominant acting monster for the better part of a century.
Yeah.
That's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is Star Trek Discovery. They seem to be like in this vein of just only telling one character story, which is something completely it's not indicative to what the Star Trek universe does. Like even they made 7 seasons of Next Generation.
Yeah.
And every single one of those episodes varied between characters.
Yeah.
Everybody got their shine. You had a Geordie LaForge episode. You had
2 back-to-back in season 3.
Really?
Back-to-back,
I mean...
It was like one, and then
you're
another.
the most recent.
Yeah.
So, everybody got shined on
Worf
that
gets
show.
a son.
Like
they kill his baby mama.
It expanded so much of the other like mythos of the canon based on the fact that they were telling stories about the entire crew.
Yeah.
And not just this, like...
Well, not the entire crew.
Obviously, not the entire crew.
It would have been,
it's
actually kind of interesting that they never found, like... They never did, like, one episode of just, like, the red shirts down...
Well,
engineering, like just doing bullshit.
That's true,
and like it doesn't involve Captain Picard or Riker.
That's actually true.
That would be my pitch idea.
That's actually. I feel like that's what the Orville was trying to do in that first season.
Yeah,
they were trying to be like, what if a red shirt became a captain? Because that's ostensibly the.
See, I didn't even know it. My kids know it. They're like, "Oh, I'm like, what did you guys do last night? Oh, we watched an episode of The Orville, and it was really good."
Dude,
blah, blah, blah.
I think,
oh shit.
And this leads me to Jonathan Frakes because I've been keeping up with The Orville this season, and it's gotten so good.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
It's gotten so good, and I found out, like, I was watching the last week's episode. I don't know how many he's been on, but last week's episode especially was directed by Jonathan. Number one is directing these, and Counselor Troy was on the episode. She appeared as a character on the Orville. Deanna Troy, the Beta Z.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Was one of the characters on the show. I was like, They're basically pulling all the pedigree from Star Trek, and they're adding it. They absolutely should, and it's
because Star Trek Discovery is not going to do it.
No, I think actually, to be honest, I'm gonna say it right here and right now. I think Orville is a better science fiction. In the canon of Star Trek, it's a better science fiction show than Star Trek Discovery. I'll say it here right now.
Okay.
It's telling better stories.
It became that. They got better at it.
They got much better at it. I think people have been sleeping on it because that first season they still didn't know what
rocky.
they were.
I watched that first episode.
They still didn't know what they were.
Woo.
They were still trying to. They were coming from that vein of we do Family Guy, we do these kind of cutaway shows, and they were setting up all these cutaway jokes, but not actually ever cutting away to them.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what that first season kind of suffered from.
Yeah.
And so they were playing on these old habits, and what they need. So what in the second season, what they went out and did, and they went out and got people that know what the fuck this thing is about, and like the character designs are incredible. The all that space stuff is awesome. The battles, like seeing them like in a battle, like maneuvering, like all of that.
Well, Star Trek, to go back to Star Trek Discovery, it looks really good.
Yeah, which I had problems with because I remember since day one I was like, this technology seems way more advanced, and then they kind of do these little niche things where they're like, oh, no more holograms ever because apparently Pike doesn't like holographic communication,
yeah.
so that's how they get around the fact that this way futuristic technology doesn't exist in the.
Well, okay. Here's my understanding of it. You know, when you sit down in the subway and you look up and everybody's on their phone, every single person, and they're just sitting there scrolling through. Yeah. Nobody's looking around. It's just you looking around because everybody's absorbed into this technology. Yeah. That's sort of like in my mind. That's where Star Trek Discovery is. Whereas Next Generation, they have augmented that stuff so well and actually learned through time to pare that stuff down so that it's less involved. Mm-hmm. So that when they need something, it's right there for them. They don't have to have all this like crazy stuff that Discovery has. It's just simple, like we have a touch interface and that's it.
Well, the
we can
whole
do everything.
mycelium network thing,
Yeah.
I was like, get the fuck out.
Later, we'll go into theories after this week's episode. The main problem I had with this week's episode, Discovery, was that it was filler.
Yeah.
It was a filler episode to get to a big fight and then roll credits. And now this week is going to be tonight's going to be.
Do
the
you
big
remember a
battle.
filler episode in like Next Generation?
No, because they didn't necessarily. It wasn't
Because they weren't filler episodes. They
No.
were specific to some
Yes,
other character.
They were character building episodes.
There was some character
Yeah.
needed their story told in whatever. Some like the one with where Dr. Crusher gets like phased out of time and she's on the ship and like trying to like that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. Anyways, what else you
anyway,
got? We'll talk about Discovery next week
anyway,
when the season wraps up.
So the girl, this one was a movie. The Girl from the Naked Eye.
Ooh,
It was it's kind of like a kung fu kick out meets a Max Payne noir film.
2012.
Yeah.
Where are you coming up with this stuff?
Dude, that's my Netflix. That's
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah, man.
I recommend it. They do some really good things in it. It's not great. Sasha Grey appears in it. I don't know if you know who Sasha Grey is.
Sure, she's also in Spider-Man.
Is
Wait
she?
for it. Think about it. She's there.
Is she?
Yeah.
Which
Toby,
one?
Tobey Maguire.
Sasha Grey is?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the first Spider-Man. I think she's the one who's like singing that song right before the Green Goblin comes and blows up the side of that building and like neutrinos all those people that are like standing out on the balcony.
Yeah,
She's
I
the
don't-
one that's singing.
That's
when-
Macy Gray. That's a black woman. Oh. Sasha Grey is a porn star.
See, you would know.
Jesus. Oh, you don't know porn stars? I'm the pervert. I'm the only one who knows porn stars. Okay, fine. I'm confusing a Grammy-winning black vocalist with a skinny brunette white woman who does porn. Yes, that's me. I did that. this motherfucker right here.
Sasha Grey was also in the Girlfriend Experience.
Oh, now you know her.
I know her from the movies.
Now you know her.
I certainly don't know her from her porn.
Sure.
Delete folder. Delete
Sasha
Sasha Grey.
Why don't you spin that around? Spin that.
Bootlegs. Delete.
Spin that around.
So the budget for that movie was $1,100,000.
That's not a lot.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty cheap for a kung fu sci-fi movie. So Jake is a hired driver for a seedy escort service operating out of the Naked Eye strip club. Oh, I see where Sasha Grey fits into this. And falls for a witty, high-class escort named Sandy, played by Samantha Streets. I think you got the porn star wrong. It's Samantha Streets, not Sasha Grey.
No, Sasha Grey is in this movie for this long.
Fight me.
I look. You know what? I'm not gonna get into this with you. Just it was on. I took a look at it.
So you're saying there's more than one porn star?
I don't think that girl Samantha Streets is a porn star.
You
I
would
just think
know.
she has
You're the
an
authority,
unfortunate
not
name.
me. I
Oh,
certainly
right,
never
right,
watch porn.
Right, yeah.
I like
right.
people who act like they don't watch porn. Like they've never checked it out.
Like Pornhub isn't like the biggest thing on the planet.
Such bullshit.
Listen. Anyway, we're not gonna go into
Mom,
that.
Dad, we know you're watching porn.
Mom, Dad, I don't care about your searches. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, enjoy
You deserve
it. It's
You deserve
fine.
it.
Everybody, masturbation is so fine. It's
forget
okay.
Forget what they told you in church. It's not true.
It's
You're not going to hell.
fine.
Touch yourself.
If
Touch
we
yourself.
didn't do it, think of how bad things would be. Think how bad the world would
ISIS.
be. Yeah. I'm just thinking
ISIS.
about people just walking around constantly horny all the time.
Yeah, it's called ISIS.
It's
Yeah, those dudes blow themselves up because they're
Courting-
promised virgins.
yeah. Well, maybe they started masturbating because.
Nope, you can't do that. That's a sin.
Well, anyways, we're not
God
gonna
don't
get-
want you to touch
we're just gonna
yourself.
get into ISIS. However, one night Sandy is found dead, and the only clues remaining being records of cell phones made the night that she was murdered. Jake sets out to avenge Sandy's death by risking everything and walking a bloody path to find her killer.
It's a detective story.
Nice. What's next? Bless you.
Excuse me, Jesus.
Yeah, this is
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which has
Still
been a
on it.
staple.
Yeah.
Occupation.
Occupation.
Yeah, it was a Netflix suggestion. I saw it, but It was forgettable because I'm not even remembering what it was about right
Nice.
now.
That's half of everything I watched in 2018. Oh, you're talking about the what it said with Spike Lee? What? Oh, Luke Spark. Writers Luke Spark, Felix Williamson, director Luke Spark, stars
Premise?
Dan Ewing. Premise: a small group of town residents have to band together after a devastating ground invasion. As they struggle to survive, they realize they must stay one step ahead of their attackers and not let Rob fall asleep.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead. That's
forgettable.
Yeah.
Vice.
You watched it?
Well, no, not the movie.
Oh.
The news program.
Vice.
Yeah.
Which
episode? The episode about bare knuckle boxing.
Ooh.
Becoming a legalized sport in, I think, the state Wyoming.
Yeah.
And they had their first, bare knuckle boxing. They're the episode. They're trying to legitimize bare knuckle boxing in a way that, say, actual boxing and actual boxing. I don't even, just even the way that we the sport kind of bare knuckle boxing used to be a thing in America, up until
that was the guys with their hands.
Yeah, those classic photos of 18 whatever.
Trying to punch yourself.
The last time bare knuckle boxing was legal in America was 1870 something or 1890
something. Why would they punch like this? This makes sense. What I'm doing right now for those of you listening is I have my hands towards my palms. Turned towards me.
He looks like one of those old time photos of those handlebar mustache motherfuckers.
Well, I have the mustache already.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
Stop it.
Not on my face.
Stop.
What else are you into?
We gotta
keep it moving.
It's not a mustache.
We still Game of Thrones. We got Star Trek
face,
or Star Wars to go through. What do you got?
Yeah,
These are your B-reel too. This is even
look. I meant to that was one of the ones that got stars. I'm just gonna go through these and then I'll tell you the ones that we should talk about. The Orville we already talked about. Black Sails, which I got recommended to me by Laurel.
Yes, she's into
picked that up.
There's a lot of male penis in it.
Is there?
Yeah, once you get later.
That's probably why I fell asleep on the first episode. Yeah. Anywho, I recognize a lot of the people in it, and the premise is cool. So I tried
to get into it. I couldn't quite get into it.
I might go back. I did fall asleep on it, but mostly because time and what I was doing.
She loves it.
Jim Jeffries show, John Oliver, The Twilight Zone, both of them.
Are they good?
I think just watch the originals. I think they don't have the they're putting on the airs of the original, but they don't quite have it. And I think it has
Are they trying too hard?
I think a little bit.
I think they're not trying enough.
I think it's Keenan
Ivory Wayans is not good in the Twilight Zone. Kenan Thompson.
I think it's Jordan. I think it's Jordan.
Michael Jordan is no good.
It's not Michael Jordan, you asshole. I think it's Jordan Peele. His narrator.
Oh, it's too Key and Peele.
Yeah.
I had
can't
that thought.
Really feel like it feels like a Key and Peele sketch.
Yeah.
So I was like, did I just watch a Key and Peele sketch? Because that's
like Leslie Nielsen from
like.
Game of Thrones. Leslie Nielsen from Naked Gun.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know what I mean? Like
a little bit.
You can never see him in another serious movie because you're just like, dude.
I only, to be fair, I only watched the first episode with Kamal Janan.
Yeah,
the comedian.
Yeah. I like him a lot.
I do like him a lot, and I like the premise. I liked the episode. It just didn't land for me because it felt kind of put on.
Yeah, maybe it'll get better.
I think maybe it will.
Go. What else?
But yeah, Sword Art Online 2, second season.
I watched the first episode of the first season.
Really?
Yeah.
And
she's running around. It's weird that these animes get so obsessed with gun tactics and military, which I don't know. I kind of liked it, but then also was like, what am I doing with my life? I should watch something else.
Oh, yeah. Wow. You started judging yourself. Okay. Good.
Yeah, I started judging myself, but also I have limited time.
Oh.
I have to really be careful about what I put time to. Right. It was good enough that I could see myself watching it, but then I could also see myself watching something else.
It's surprisingly good.
Yeah.
It's so surprisingly good that it's had multiple spin-offs.
Yeah.
Like Sword Art Online led to Gunglaive Online, which I brought up on the podcast a couple weeks back. They're good. It's really good anime in a lot of ways. The action sequences when they animate the action is fucking dope.
Yeah.
It deals with a lot of things that we love on this podcast. fantasy, RPGs, and video games.
Yeah.
It ties all those things in its mythos. So it's dope. Boruto. I'm just gonna run through these. Boruto. If you don't know Boruto, he's the son of Naruto. That's starting to heat up. It's. I think they just pushed into 100 episodes.
His mother's Maruto.
No.
Baruto.
Kill yourself.
Brother's Broruto.
2036 Origin Unknown with Katie Sackhoff from.
What is that?
It's a movie about AI and basically alien AI that ends the human race.
Oh, this is new, 2018.
Yeah,
I remember seeing the poster for this. Yeah,
it's gnarly. It's surprising, is what I'll say, because Netflix has been throwing it at me for a few weeks now, and I've been like, no, that looks
leave me alone,
corny.
Netflix. I know that feeling where you're like, oh god, this is everywhere.
Yeah, no, not much of that. It was everywhere. It was just like, wow, really, this looks bad.
Yeah, and
it wasn't. It wasn't bad. It actually is kind of good.
Yeah. Well, here's the synopsis real quick. After a failed mission to Mars, AI RT is now used for the 2036 mission with a few human supervisors. A monolith of unknown origin is found there. It will have big effect on Earth.
Well, it has some holes, and I actually wouldn't mind you watching it.
Okay.
So you could be like, yeah, I found that. Like, there's one major thing for me that I'm like, did they just not do that? Or is that... Anyway.
Yeah, we gotta go. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. We haven't got to our Star Wars.
The Game of Thrones we'll talk about. Dragged Across Concrete.
Yes, how was that?
I had thoughts.
Okay.
It's long. It's long.
Oh, the Mel Gibson Vince Vaughn thing, 2018.
Mel Gibson, Vince Vaughn, old girl from Dexter, the sister of Dexter. It's long.
Jennifer Carpenter.
Yeah. For me, it feels like they didn't know what kind of movie they wanted to make, so they tried to make all of them. It starts really aggressively in a way that I was like, oh, I'm interested now.
Yeah.
And then it starts with this one main character, and then it diverges into these other characters, and you're not sure. One, you're not sure whose movie it's supposed to be. Two, it's funny in plays. It's funny in a way that I'm like, is this supposed to be a comedy, or is this supposed to be like drama? Because some of these scenes, like there's a scene where so Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson play these two cops. You know what? I'm not going to.
It's just keep here. We should have a rule from now on. If you're not into it,
I see. The thing is, I feel like I was into it,
kind of into it. Yeah,
I was mostly I watched it I was into it, but I was like, what the? Cause I was into it because I was like, what the fuck is this?
To be fair, that's how I watch every Mel Gibson movie now, post his racist tyrant.
Right, and that's the other thing about this movie. It had this like racism undertone to it.
I saw the preview and was like, this feels weird.
Yeah, well, and like there's a lot of that where like characters will say something in the moment. I was like, oh, why would okay.
Yeah.
That all right.
Maybe Mel Gibson wasn't the person to cast in this movie.
And I don't know if I don't know how much of I don't think he wrote it or had anything to do with it.
No, the writer and the director are the same guy.
Yeah. Which is it a black writer?
Oh, I don't know. Well, why do you hope so?
I hope so. I really do, because it's the only way that it would make
Craig Zoller. Is his name.
That doesn't sound like a white guy. I mean, it does sound like a black guy.
It's a white guy.
Yeah. It has some issues for me, and but it's interesting.
Well, he's from Miami, so that explains a lot. Anyways, what else you got? Come on, keep going.
That was it. And the originals, which was like a vampire joint that I had started a while back. It went 10 episodes in and then forgot about. I went back to it for an episode. I'm like, it's diverse. It's diverse.
It's got that going for it.
Yeah, it's diverse, but it's vampires and werewolves
with
and
diversity.
Witches. Vampires, werewolves, and witches.
Because werewolves can be persons
in New Orleans
of color too.
So setting is New Orleans, and I just come back from New Orleans. So I was like, oh yeah, New Orleans.
Hey, look at that. There's people barfing.
Right.
Cool.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I might go back to it because a lot of these people are very attractive.
Well, cue Game of Thrones music. Did you watch?
Oh, I did. I did. Against myself, I did.
I'm so proud of you.
No, don't be proud. I'm glad I did for a few reasons.
Okay, tell me why.
All right.
Well, first off, did you like it or did you not like it?
I liked parts of it.
Perfect.
Parts of it were fine.
Yes.
There were other parts of it I was just like, meh.
It was not a great episode.
This is what I wanted to ask you. I was like,
Yeah.
as someone, because it didn't feel like it. I was like,
It was
so
okay.
you waited all this time,
Yeah.
as a fan. I was like, you waited. This is what I wanted to ask you. Was it satisfying to finally get this episode out of the way?
Kind of. This was like this
Because
episode
it felt like a shitty filler episode
Yeah, there's still
at the top of the season.
It's weird that at the top of the season they're still setting things up as opposed to starting to deal with the setup. You know what I mean? So some of it I understand, and some of it was likely lost to you because you haven't followed.
Fair.
You know, because like
What do you think was lost to me?
at the very end, when one of the better moments is at the very end, like the last thing you see is the kid in the wheelchair.
And that's actually one of my favorite moments of the show.
Okay, so that because you did watch the first season.
I
So
watched
Bram
the first because
he
the
sees
last
Jamie.
time I
yeah.
cared about Game
Yeah.
of Thrones was when those two motherfuckers had their meetup for the first
Yes,
time.
yes.
In that first episode, the last scene of the first episode of
Yes.
Game of Thrones. So, like, for me watching this episode,
The things
and
I
seeing
do for love.
what? And yeah, so
Yeah.
for me, I was like, that
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah, so 7 years later, it's like, oh shit. You can see
And,
that,
like,
even the look
and
on
the
his face
thing
is like,
is-
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The thing is, like, that character, like, because I watched the episode a few times because I wanted to make sure that I could barbecue your ass if you wanted to come at me sideways about it.
You watched it a few nights.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, that character, Bram, I think his name is? The kid?
Braun. No, not Braun. Bram.
Bram? What?
Yeah, Bran.
I know
Yeah.
this from just the zeitgeist of that. He sees the future or, like,
Yeah.
versions of, like, things of it.
He sees the past, the present, and the future all
At the same time.
Yeah.
That's which is
Which is
gangsta,
cool.
which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a gangster thing for
He's
any
no
character.
longer that character. He's no longer the kid.
No, he's
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah.
a man.
The three-eyed raven is who he is. Yeah.
Perfect. Because so the last time I cared about this show, Game of Thrones, was that last scene of that first episode where he catches him climbing up that parapet and he pushes old boy out the window.
Yeah.
And then
That starts everything.
And then when I tuned into this episode and that character is like right there at the top, do you notice he never left the spot that he starts in?
Well, that's what
from
he's
the top of
saying.
the
I'm waiting
episode.
for an old friend. Is what he says.
But you don't find that out until like
To the
2/3 of the
end.
way
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the episode.
Yeah.
But he like old girl and John, like the top of the episode, you see the kid running through the forest and you're like, what the fuck is he running to?
Yeah.
And then you see, Jon Snow just came back
Yeah,
with
the
all the
procession,
armies
yeah.
or whatever. It's the procession, it's the armies. And so, like, that character is there when Snow meets him and the Queen and everybody shows up, and he never moves.
Yeah.
And it's the gangsterest thing ever because he's like, I was like, what? Because I had clocked it early. I was like, yo, this motherfucker has not left this spot since we saw him at the top of this episode. What the fuck is going on? and then I knew this shit hit the fan when he went to Jon Snow and he was like, hey, yo, now's the time to tell old boy. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is gonna. I knew it was gonna end in a way that I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
So did you understand? Well, before I say that,
I think I did.
What's funny is if you can see the future,
Dude, it surprised me how much I understood having
Okay.
only watched that first season. Not even surprising. It is exactly what I said. This show is mad predictable.
Yeah. Okay, well, so maybe it's a good thing that you haven't seen all these shows, because this is
Yeah,
actually
I
very
think it is.
interesting
I think
to
it
hear
is.
what you can pick up and what you can't. But one, if you can see the future, why would you sit in the same spot for hours on end waiting for somebody when you know exactly when they're going to come?
Because it's baller as fuck. like he doesn't move. Like you imagine you show up at dawn or whatever, and your man's like, nah, I'm waiting for an old friend. Cause he broke your back, bro. Yeah, I would know. I ain't going to, like, if I knew he was coming, no, because everybody's going to be sitting there, like, everybody's going about their business in the castle.
Move your mic.
Everybody, I'm getting hype about it because I, like, there was parts of it that I really enjoyed, and the rest of it I was like,
Yes. What else did you like?
Well, it's not as much as I liked it, but I was like, I would never do that. Is the scene where the dudes who I guess got left behind and fought off the dead in
Tormund and Barrick,
the Cyclops and Redbeard.
Yeah,
is
Redbeard,
what I call them. I don't know their actual fucking names.
He has one of the worst lines, like when they stumble on those guys, and I forget who says it, but
he's like, he's got blue eyes.
He's got blue. It's like I've always had blue eyes. It's like corny. Okay,
dude.
Yeah,
the whole thing was good.
Yeah.
Especially like that scene where they're creeping through the darkness or whatever. It was like. And then my man with the one eye is the one leading. I was like, "You don't let the motherfucker with one eye and no depth." I know he got a flaming sword on fire. I know he got a flaming fucking sword because I found that out later. I was like, "Oh,
notice like it's pitch black." I'm like,
dude, I was like, "Wait, you gonna let the motherfucker with one eye?"
Like, if you can tell a joke. Man, if only we had a torch.
Okay, and the other thing is that. John, like because I haven't been following it. I know that Jon Snow is having sex with like a family member. I'm just not sure which family member. Is it a cousin? Is he fucking his cousin?
Danny is So the blonde haired girl is his aunt.
Oh, she's his aunt
by blood. Yeah.
He's fucking his aunt.
Yeah.
Okay,
because that's what's basically. I don't go into details, but yeah. Sam tells him, "Oh, by the way, you're supposed to be king."
Yeah. Well, like.
That's
why
that
was the other part of it that I really liked. I liked his face. That face is a face I've coined as the tall glass of milk face.
Which character, John's face?
Yes. Yeah. Like when he's like,
that face is hard. I think it's a hard face to do.
Not. That face people get that face all the time. The tall glass of milk face, where it's like imagine a warm room, like a 75-degree room, and someone has tasked you. They're like, you have to drink a tall glass of milk, like a 44-ounce cup of milk that is sitting on a table in a 75-degree room. Oh. Like, now imagine the face, like they're like, look, you can leave after you drink all of that milk. The face that you make when you look to see that you got to drink a tall glass of milk, that's the face that Jon Snow had when old boy told him that. And that's the face a lot of people make that face that I gotta drink all of that. That's the face he was.
All of it? That's more than a pint.
Okay,
it's like one of those 20-ounce cups.
Tall glass of milk face. That's what John had.
Well, that's also why he's one of the ones who can ride. Only her and him can ride the dragon.
Yeah, because of the bloodline.
Yeah. Did you like that scene where you rode the dragon?
That actually, it was the dopest scene in the episode. I was like.
That's cool because it looked like he was about to fall off at any moment.
Well, no, like it was just some of the shots of him when the point of view of watching someone who doesn't know how to ride a dragon take a dragon drop, like the scene where they're flying through like the gully and he goes off the edge of the cliff and the dragon drops and you see him sort of like struggling to hold on.
Yeah.
Like that shit is dope. I've never denied that the show is beautiful to look at and beautiful to watch. My whole thing is that it was mad. Like I didn't need to watch all the in betweens. Like honestly, I feel like I had the best job. I watched the first season and then the first episode of the second season, and then I'm showing back up for the last season.
You did work very, very hard for this podcast by avoiding episodes of Game of Thrones for years.
It was unnecessary. I was already predicting the shit.
What anything that you were curious about that you didn't know?
No.
Okay.
No, all of it seemed to make sense. Oh, girl, and the Hound. I do remember something to the effect of like he was like her ward, or she was his ward or something for a time, and then he mistreated her or whatever, and she basically left him to die.
He in earlier episodes he kills a friend of hers, but later saves her life and kind of escorts her through the countryside towards Winterfell, and things go wrong. He ends up getting into a fight with Brienne, who's like the big female knight.
Right. Yeah,
she kicks his ass.
Yeah, I remember.
Arya's there and can save him or help him, and she doesn't because he killed her friend from years ago. Right. Yeah, the Hound. That's a good one.
For me, the people who I cared about in the first season are the people who are being sort of spotlighted and highlighted, with the exception of Tyrion. My boy Peter Dinklage, they've neutered his character.
They did.
A lot, and that's funny because he's the one who makes the balls joke at the top of the episode.
That's a very good point. I haven't heard that, but yeah, he's been exactly neutered.
Like his character in the first season,
he was a lot smarter, and she calls him out on it, too. Sansa says,
well,
"You used to be the smartest person I ever knew.
You were the clever, you were the cleverest man I ever knew."
I actually
the thing
said
about
that.
it was like for me, like in that first season, they were introducing all these characters, which you obviously didn't really need to know.
Mm-hmm.
But the only ones of note that for me stayed around that I was actually interested in were Jon Snow, your girl Mother of Dragon, and Tyrion. Those are the three. I was like, these are the most interesting story arcs in this thing, and I feel like I want to know what happens to these characters. And now that I'm at the end and I kind of know what happens to these characters, it's kind of I did actually along the way I did see the episode where Tyrion kills old boy,
his dad.
Yeah. I saw that one where he shits him on the shit.
Right. So you understood that when
his Cersei when Cersei basically is like trying to get old boy to murder him, and I guess Jaime.
Yeah, Bronn's not going to do that because Bronn's been great friends with Jaime,
well, it doesn't make sense. It like
Tyrion
and apparently I don't know what fell out between Jaime and the Queen, but I know that she wants him dead now. One thing that I didn't get, because I had no frame of context, is the woman who was the Iron Fleet, the woman who was tied up in the Iron Fleet ship, and that dude and his relationship to the Queen. Apparently, he's done her some service by, I guess, killing somebody.
They are related. They are brother and sister.
Who are brother and
Euron
sister?
is the guy who got the fleet and brought it to Cersei, who slept with Cersei, right?
Yeah.
And Yara is his sister. They're both Greyjoys.
Now, who's the dude who shows up to save her?
That's Theon. So midway through maybe the second or third season, he gets basically held captive and tortured, like excruciatingly. Like in some of the words, like they chop his fingers off, and like they chopped it. He doesn't have a dick. They chopped his dick off, basically.
That dude who saved the old girl is a eunuch?
Yes. And basically, like, yeah. And
Bummer.
His entire personality changes to this other character named Reek. And like for about 3 seasons, he's just nothing but like a disappointment to everybody, to the viewer, to like his sister, to everybody. He like makes all the wrong decisions. At the end of the last episode, season 7, he has a chance to like save her and to fight Euron, who sleeps with Cersei, right? Mm-hmm. And he jumps overboard and runs away. Mm-hmm. And so this is him coming back and finally, for the first time in like 4 seasons, stepping up and manning up. She actually went and saved him previously, and he was so psychologically fucked in the head that he wouldn't go with her. He wanted to stay with his captor.
Well, if they chopped your dick off, you'd be psychologically fucked too.
Yeah, exactly. So bam. So yeah, so that was a good. I understand why that moment was kind of lost, but if you'd been watching for a while, you're like, "Fuck yeah!"
It's the only part of the episode. Theon. It's the only part of the episode that didn't make sense.
That's Jon Snow's stepbrother, essentially.
Stepbrother. Yeah. All right, so he's a Stark.
He's not a Stark. He's a Greyjoy, but the way that they like, if you had a son and your son, you wanted to make an allegiance with another family, the Starks, you would send your son to live with the Starks. Mm-hmm. It was also sort of like a punishment. In the same way
that Apocalypse. Never mind.
Yeah. There's you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a punishment as well. So what else? Any other things?
No, man, it was pretty it was basic. Like that was
no big fight.
Well, yeah. I don't think the big fight happened, I'm assuming, in the season finale of season 7.
Yeah.
Where the wall came down.
It wasn't even a big fight. Like, the guy, basically one of the dragons dies, and the guy turns it into a White Walker dragon, blows up the wall, and all the dead start marching towards Winterfell. So that's presumably what the next episode is those. Hopefully it'll be the Battle of Winterfell, and will be another.
No, you're not going to get the Battle of Winterfell in that second episode.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna. Like, the wall just came down. The dead have just crossed into the. They're gonna meander a bit, because basically Cersei has to set up her. You have to see Cersei's gambit now.
Yeah.
Because she, in that first episode, they already allude to the fact that she wants the White Walkers to be here. Mm-hmm. She's got something conspiring to.
She wants the White Walkers to kill everybody at Winterfell, so she doesn't have to.
She thinks.
Yeah.
But, oh boy, her brother has already said that, he thinks that she has something to fight for, where Sansa's like, well, you got to be the dumbest dealer in the history of the dope game if you believe that shit.
And that's the question, is like at the end of the last episode, she tells Jaime that she's pregnant, presumably with Jaime's baby. Mm-hmm. And that's also what she tells Tyrion as well. So Tyrion's like, yeah. But then you see her drinking wine. She sleeps
Yeah.
with Euron. So you're like,
Well,
but-
no, I think I think she's bullshitting. I don't
Yeah.
think she can have babies.
Yeah.
Because he says that same shit to her. He's like, I'm gonna put a prince in this, and she has that moment where she's like,
Good luck.
yeah, she has that look. I mean,
like, my shit's
presumably,
cavernous.
presumably, she knows something that these other cats don't. That's going to benefit her in some way, but I think what's going to happen is she's going to play herself.
Yeah.
It's not going to pan out the way she has,
Yeah.
and either she's going to end up having to eat crow and join and help these cats, or she's going to die unceremoniously, and we'll be done with her litany of dumb shit.
Rob predicts.
It's not that good of a sci-fi. Fantasy. It as far as like world building, it's pretty like bare bones. Like they built it on other tropes.
Before we move on to Star Wars, who do you think is going to end up on the throne, the Iron Throne? At this point, we'll do this every week. We're going to talk a little bit about each episode.
Honestly, I don't have enough information to say for sure.
Okay, you have to guess someone. It's what we do here.
I'm gonna watch this last season.
Yeah,
because I think it's gonna be pretty short.
Yeah.
And based on the fact that I've seen the first season, I feel like I have enough to go on for a lot of, because basically the first season I had been waiting for winter.
Yeah.
Like every character in that first season made winter be like the end all. Winter is coming. Oh my god, winter is coming. So like,
I'll check back 7 years later.
Yeah, basically that's how I feel. Like, because that's why I watched all of the first season and then the first episode of the second season, because I wanted to see if that first episode of the second season was gonna be, okay, winter is here now, we can start telling this fucking story.
Yeah.
And when it wasn't, I was like, fuck this show. I'll catch up when they get their shit together.
I do have one comment from Shar, my sister. These are her predictions.
I read that thread, by the way, and I love your family.
Yeah.
You guys are
We're
such nerds.
You're such geeks. So she says, 1, Dany is going to have Jon Snow's baby. I did not count. No, I did not count, but it felt like every episode of the last season they mentioned the dragons being her children and her not being able to have kids of her own. Why else would they mention this so much? Probably make it a shocker when it doesn't happen. Number 2, either Jon or Dany die. I don't know which one, but they both do not live. My guess is that Jon sacrifices himself to save Dany and his unborn child. Number 3, I have told you this one before, but I think Jaime kills Cersei. Pretty good.
Yeah, probably.
Number 4, I could also see Arya killing Jaime to kill Cersei. She uses Jaime's face to get close to her and then kills her. Arya has the ability to take other people's faces and put them over her. Arya's the young girl who looks like Penelope.
Maisie.
Yeah, Maisie Williams.
Okay.
So she can take other people's face. She can do face swaps, basically.
Okay.
Number 5, or Tyrion kills Cersei. Regardless, Cersei dies. Yeah,
I don't think Tyrion kills. that's not going to happen. Tyrion doesn't kill his sister.
I agree.
He would have done it already.
Yeah,
killed his dad.
Yes, exactly. Number 6, Arya dies. This is Maisie. I don't know how, but I see her killing a lot of people and somehow dying by killing someone on her list. I could see when she kills Cersei, the Mountain killing her. And Mountain's the Hound's brother.
Yeah,
yada.
That one I could see, because she went to the blacksmith and she asked the blacksmith to make her a weapon. Yeah, a special weapon.
Special weapon. It looked like a cool spear, right?
It looked like a shootable spear, a spear that shoots projectiles.
Yeah. So what they're doing right now? They're basically like equipping all of their characters right before you go in an RPG to the boss battle. Yeah, exactly. Number 7, which makes you think who will be in charge of the North. Regardless, if Jon lives, he won't rule the North because of his blood. They have to give it to a Stark after everything their family has gone through. Bran is going to be a tree as the Three-Eyed Raven, which only leaves Sansa. Number 8, in the end, I think it will be Dany as Queen of the Iron Throne. Preggers with Jon Snow's baby. But I could see her getting rid of the Iron Throne because she is a cool queen, in quotes, who likes to be one with her people, as well as Sansa as Queen of the North. Shar predicts. All right. So, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, we got a Star Wars trailer. Episode 9.
We did.
This came out at Star Wars Celebration
How many
in
times
Chicago.
did you watch it?
Twice.
Okay.
I'm trying to. Well,
wow. Okay.
Actually, I don't know what I'm going to do with this.
That's surprising for me.
Yeah, I ended up watching it twice, but then doing kind of breakdown things.
Oh, so you actually watched the actual trailer twice, but
Yes.
then you went and watched breakdown videos
Yes.
on the actual trailer.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
That.
Okay.
And we're going to break it down now.
Well, you can. I only watched it actually twice.
Actually, twice.
So
yes.
I have the knowledge that I sustained from those 2 viewings, and I haven't touched any of it, and I don't think I will.
So
but please go ahead.
Well, before we get into that, Star Wars Celebration happened in Chicago. There were a couple of really great moments when the guy Ahmed Best, who plays Jar Jar Binks, when he came out on stage to present a panel, everybody stood up and cheered for him.
Good. Well, I mean, I guess great, but it's
what a roller coaster his career has been.
Well,
oh jeez.
Speaking of, did you hear that Admiral Akbar, the guy who played Admiral Akbar, was upset that the Mon Calamarans, that race of got
annihilated?
wiped out in the Last Jedi or whatever.
Well, he gets killed unceremoniously.
No, yeah,
because he's on the
way back.
Yeah, he's basically on the bridge when Leia gets sucked out, and he presumably gets sucked out too.
Right. So apparently that actor was miffed.
If only somebody had told him it's a trap.
Auto trap.
And then Kelly Marie Tran, who plays the girl. God, what's her character's name?
The one who's in love with Finn.
Yes. So she also got a standing ovation every single time that she came out.
No, because they've been shitting on her as a person,
exactly,
because she's an Asian in the Star Wars universe.
Well, this is sort of this is all that stuff
crazy.
that happened with Star Wars is a very small, but highly vocal minority came out and just trashed all these people and turned it into this thing that if anybody wants to criticize The Last Jedi, everybody's like, well, you're a man baby and you're a woman hater and blah blah blah.
You know what's funny? That how much that people love Game of Thrones, and even last night when I was watching, I was like, damn. When the 2 black people on the show rode through, I was like, damn. This show, as big as this cast is, you couldn't put one minority in a role that meant anything. One.
Yeah.
It would have done wonders.
Yeah, and that goes back
honestly, it would have done wonders for my viewership.
Yeah.
I would have been more inclined to watch it if at least one of these motherfuckers looked like me.
It's an incredibly good point.
It's tone deaf as fuck.
Because, one, they're honoring the source material. And so what George R.R. Martin has done is that he has created this sort of medieval fantasy Tolkien kind of universe.
And black people didn't live in the Middle Ages, apparently.
Right. Well, in the European version of that, is
this
basically
ain't Europe.
This is not me defending it. I'm telling you what his decision, why he did that was. So, yeah, exactly.
Fuck that dude.
So
fuck that show.
There's one black guy who lives. I think he's even dead. He's got a gigantic staff.
But
he's way down south.
The thing about it is, even the black people that they chose to keep in this show, they are so light.
Yeah. Are you talking about the black girl who plays?
Yes, the black girl and the black dude. They show up in the first episode because they're riding side by side in that very first scene.
I don't even
and then
remember
you don't
black
even.
Dude.
That's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point. And as they're riding by people who are poor serf and none of these motherfuckers could have been a diverse person. None of them.
You know what the word is? It's the caucasity of it all.
Yeah. The caucasity of it all.
Yeah.
See, that for me, that's why Game of Thrones never really jumped off with me.
Yeah.
It was so basic in the tropes that it was laying down as a fantasy piece. Plus, there was nobody that looked like me, so I was like, "What the fuck what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick around for dragons,
yeah,
and maybe some magic. Get the fuck out.
It's also sort of
fuck out my face with that.
And unfortunately, the show kind of premiered 2 years before. There was all that awareness of how important representation is, and you know what? Let's just put this aside and say, hey, let's cast some persons of color, not just black,
it's
just
crazy.
anybody other than.
I'm not even saying black. I'm saying ain't no Asian people could have showed up in here.
Yeah.
Not even I'm not even talking Korean, of the Oriental persuasion. I'm just Indian, just brown, anybody.
Yeah. All of that,
Nobody.
All of that is south of where they are.
You got 8 years.
But it's also off screen.
Yeah. Yeah. You got 8 years worth of this show being as blatantly white as it can possibly be, and that for me just seems like it seems egregious because like they made that a choice.
Yeah.
They could have easily written some of those characters in to be not, what they are. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like, it had to take a lot, and like I'm gonna watch this. Like I said, I'm gonna watch this last season. But for me, Game of Thrones will always be just okay fantasy. People can love this show as much as they want to, but it's always just gonna be okay for me.
A lot of people 100% agree with you. A lot of people, and it's been talked about.
It's gonna be okay for me.
Other things. So then at Star Wars Celebration, they released the new Rise of Skywalker trailer. Right,
yes.
That just came out. They talked about the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
They showed a little preview of that.
It takes place about 5 years after the Return of the Jedi.
The series follows a Mandalorian.
This new character is a gunfighter, a bounty hunter, a citizen of the underworld on the outer reaches of the galaxy. It starts off with him just hunting down quarries, making his money. This is a character you've never met before in a period of time that you've never seen.
Did you watch that?
I did see the little preview of it, it was a really big Star Wars week, and then Star Wars: The Jedi Fallen Order.
Which one do you want to talk about? Oh, and then
we can talk about all of them.
Then also the Clone Wars is back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the other thing.
Well,
and
that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Star Wars Resistance Season 2, which I haven't watched.
I was actually trying to watch it. I couldn't find a good link for it.
I'll watch it once it's all out, and it's all out now. But I need to just find the same thing. It's not on my high priority list. So which one do you want to talk about first, Mandalorian or Clone Wars?
I feel like the one that I saw most recently was Fallen Order, and because I kind of live and die in these forms of story driven video games.
What did you think?
I think based on just that story reveal, I feel like it's too early to make any real strong decisions because it's just a story trailer.
Yeah, so
they haven't shown you any gameplay. Yeah. It's just sort of like what the concept of the story is going to be about.
What if I told you the developer of God of War 3 is the director
of this?
And what if I told you I didn't know his name because I didn't look it up? But I know that because I read it once.
So you know his name? Is that what you said?
I don't know his name.
Oh, well, no.
I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't.
No, it's you said God of War 3?
Yes.
God of War 3.
Oh, you know what? I was assuming it was the new God of War, but it's not, is it?
It's not. No, it's not.
All the God of Wars were good.
Well, all the ones for the consoles were pretty good.
If this had the same fighting and play mechanics of God of War, but you were a Jedi, would you be on board?
Yes.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes, I would be.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I would be.
I didn't actually watch I kind of played the trailer for a second, then you sent me those text messages early in the week, and you're like, what do you think? I was like, it's EA. And
so you didn't actually look at what I sent you?
I watched it. We're just talking about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, single-player game. I watched it this morning, and it looks amazing. Like, what I wish is that they had made movies out of this.
I think that's what you're getting. I don't think any of that is actual gameplay footage.
I don't care. So
you don't care. You're like, I don't care. That story looks great.
Just the setup looks awesome.
The galaxy's changed.
Yeah, look out!
Whatever you do, don't reach within.
So basically, the setup is, in short,
it's after
Revenge of the Sith, right? So in Revenge of the Sith, the Emperor comes out with Order 66, and basically the clone troopers have like a chip in their head, and it turns them against the Jedi.
And
they annihilate like
all of them.
95% of the Jedi. The rest of the Jedi are later hunted down by Vader.
Right.
So Vader is probably going to make an appearance in this.
Yeah, I think he was in the trailer.
No, you're thinking of another one. We'll get to that in a second. You're thinking of Vader Immortal, which is the VR video game that's coming out.
You're right.
We'll talk about that in a second, too.
You're right.
But in this, it sort of focuses on this Jedi, who may be a Padawan or maybe an actual Jedi named Cal Kestis. And basically, he's in hiding, and he's trying to survive. And one of the ways, he has these 3 rules, and one of them is like, don't use your powers, don't go noticed, and then another one I'm forgetting.
Trust.
but he's dismantling a ship, and the scene is he's on the ship with his buddy, and they're cutting it in half, and it's being carried away, and they're on top of it. But then one of the like ropes or strings or wires breaks, and the whole thing starts to fall, and he
falls into the mouth of a sarlacc.
Yeah.
And as he's falling, my man is dangling by his leg, and he uses the force, presumably, to say, we don't actually know. We don't see if he actually uses. We see him reach out, but we don't actually know if he uses the force to save him.
Presumption. Like, I'm so on board with this idea.
The premise is dope. That's why I sent it to you. I was like, have you seen this? I was like, ugh. But then I reserve judgment because it is EA.
It is EA.
And it looks like the same engine, the same sort of setup as these last couple of Battlefronts that they made. And granted, I played some of those games, and while they look good and they play good, the stories were kind of where they faltered and let you down.
Yeah.
And I've said on this podcast numerous times, if I'm going to play a video game for 30, 40, 100 hours, you got to tell me a story that I'm gonna want to keep going with.
Yeah. So he is a Padawan. Now I'm looking at it. Yeah, it looks amazing. It looks great. I'm psyched for it. PS4.
That's just the story trailer, though.
Sig Asmussen, who was the lead developer of God of War 3. That's what his name is. Yeah. So that's great.
Trust only in the Force.
The other video game that you were thinking about is Vader Immortal.
Right. Yes.
Which actually, to me, looks less good.
It does look less good, but only because the technology isn't someplace solid yet.
Yeah.
Because it's a VR game. It's but honestly, for a this gen VR story experience, it kind of looks on point.
Yeah, it's episodic. This is episode 1. It looks like you're basically a force-sensitive girl who's somehow on a ship, and Vader's there, and you get a lightsaber, and you're going to run around and do some stuff. And you know what it looks like to me? It looks like Alien Isolation. But instead of the alien, it's Darth Vader.
Interesting.
And he's hunting you.
You've caused us considerable inconvenience. In a moment, the Lord of this monolith will give you a task, a word of advice. Do not anger Vader.
Now that Vader's found you, he's in reach of enormous power. You must escape.
Did you play or see any of the gameplay for any of the Alien Isolation games?
The new one or the old one?
Did they make a new Alien Isolation game?
No, but it's. I think in tying in with Alien's 40th anniversary, they've been releasing a lot of shorts, which I haven't watched yet.
I see.
But those are supposed to be pretty interesting.
No, the shorts are. I've seen a couple of them. They're really good.
Yeah.
Like the 40th anniversary joints that they're doing right now are on point. If you can and you're near them and you got the time, you should see them. They're pretty rad.
And then there's the Mandalorian, which is the TV show, which they revealed. And for whatever I don't know why they do this, but they put these trailers at Star Wars Celebration. They released the trailer for Episode 9 online, and we've been watching it. But the trailer for the Mandalorian, basically, there's just these weird videos of people like zooming their camera in at the actual celebration.
Yeah.
And it's fine. You get the sense of what it is. It's like a little like peek inside this show. It looks pretty amazing to me. Pedro Pascal is the Mandalorian, who's basically wearing the Boba Fett helmet.
He's a bounty hunter.
He's a bounty hunter.
It's a Star Wars story starring one of the bounty hunters from Boba Fett's kind of ilk of people.
Jon Favreau's directing.
So I mean the
Bryce
pedagogy
Dallas Howard, I think, is directing.
Wait, Bryce? You said Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Taika Waititi is directing.
It's got mad good pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
It's got an amazing cast, and it's got the House of Mouse money. If it's not a success, I would be very shocked.
Yes,
and
they would really shit the bed.
It would be. I don't see it being a flop because guys like us are going to watch it.
Yeah, for sure. But I think they're gonna. So
And they're banking on that $6.99 price
Exactly.
point to bring people out. So
November 12th. So I guess that's if that.
So Christmas should be a really interesting
time for
season.
Star Wars. Yeah,
should be a really interesting season this year.
One last thing, then we'll start talking about the trailer. But the Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano is back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
So basically, Clone Wars.
They're basically finishing that story.
Yeah, it got
they never did.
canceled. Right?
They never finished it, which is odd because they made like 5 seasons
of
it.
Yeah, they made a lot. 6, I think.
And then 6. They canceled it like it seemed like it was really like abruptly canceled, and it didn't have any really reason to be.
And it had a format a lot like Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yes,
where like each episode would focus on a different character.
Well, it told such a compelling story from the aspect of the clones.
Mm-hmm.
Like the clones took center stage in this. Like the one who was called. I don't even want. It's so compelling. Like They go into like
it was like Red or
there was 5. The one that I'm talking about
5,
specifically is 5. The one whose chip malfunctioned and he started going crazy, and like they were like, what the fuck is going on? And he basically takes him back to Kamino where they were manufactured to get him checked out. And the people who manufactured him were all in on, this conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they try to, like, it basically is like this really great, like I've said this on the podcast before, like those Clone Wars, the animation were basically like these linchpin, sinew tissue for the Star Wars canon. They told the story it told the more involved story. Like if you watched these stories, you were much more involved or much more informed on the Star Wars universe in a way. Like why Jar Jar stays around, like Jar Jar becomes an ambassador.
It answers every question you could probably wonder about the prequels.
Exactly.
And if you watch the prequel movies and you're like, these have faults, but I enjoyed them. And then watch Clone Wars.
You'd be like,
you got it, because they basically took any issue that
you
people had a question and expanded on it, and actually made it good.
Yeah, like the Gungans and like their whole like hierarchy and how
Dave Filoni's baby. Dave Filoni's the guy who created all these things. A lot of people want him to make his own Star Wars trilogy.
Like if the guy who made did he also make Rebels and
yes, yeah,
dude, then they should absolutely let him do his own movie.
Actually,
give him carte blanche. Let him go wild.
It's kind of like I don't know. I like Rebels a little bit more even than Clone Wars.
I do too.
Yeah, because Rebels is just simple. Clone Wars is so vast.
Well, Clone Wars deals specifically with those first couple of movies.
Yeah.
Rebels tells a separate Star Wars story, but it meanders and ties back to the original in these strong like little touch tones.
Yes, there's something concise about Rebels that I appreciate. Yeah, and then we got Star Wars trailer Episode 9. What did you think about this trailer?
I think I think they gave you just enough to whet your appetite for it.
Yeah.
I'm also this. I hate this week has been I'm reserving judgment week. I am so not judgmental this week.
That's good.
I'm reserving judgment on.
I'm judgmental.
I'm reserving.
I think
judgment.
It still looks like crap.
No, I think the scene where
let's go through it.
I'm gonna love when I see what actually happens with that starfighter. Is what I'm going to say.
In the opening scene, yeah.
I'm going to love to see what the resolution happens with that starfighter.
Did something feel off to you about it? Because what we're talking about is the moment where it opens. Every trailer for each one of these movies opens with heavy breathing. First, it's Finn breathing heavy.
Right.
Then it's Rey breathing heavy in the second one. Remember, she's like concentrating.
I'll take your word for it because I know you go hard on this.
Oh, yeah, I go hard. And then this one, she's breathing heavy, and she's in the desert. We don't know if it's Tatooine. We don't know if it's Jakku. Tatooine would be interesting because this is about sort of the culmination of the Star Wars Skywalker
saga.
saga.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
which honestly, I feel like I want to make the prediction now. I feel like we're gonna find out that Rey is somehow related to the Skywalkers.
Maybe.
I feel like it's the only way we can go because in these 2 movies she's been searching for her family.
Mm-hmm.
We never hear who her family is, but old boy knows. Kylo Ren knows.
Well, he says
he says he knows.
What nobody talks about is that he says that he saw a vision of her, and that was also of her parents.
Right.
Now, the problem with that is that every vision that anybody has in Star Wars, whether it's Anakin, visioning Padme dying, it always ends up being some weird twisted version of that.
Right.
So I don't think we can take that at face value. It's something.
Also, the character that Lapita voiced. Also,
Maz Kanata. Maz Kanata.
You would, once again, this is your wheelhouse. I'm just throwing it up there so you can
dunking on it.
You can serve it up. Well, that character also references a family that she's searching for. That there's all this allusion to family.
Yeah.
That we never actually have any payoff for her in. And with the trailer, we already know who Kai's Loren is related to. Everybody already has an affiliation,
right?
And then and all the other Skywalkers are dead.
Yes.
So it seems to me I could be absolutely wrong. They could pull another character out of their aim. It could be Finn. Finn could find out that he's a fucking Skywalker in this. We don't know.
Well, there was a long
people
time
would
where
shit themselves. I feel like if the Star Wars universe found out that Finn was an actual Skywalker, fanboys would shit themselves and die. God, he's black.
I was always a little disappointed with The Force Awakens because we got that trailer and it showed Finn using the lightsaber, and then it just turns out that he's just a normal dude and he's not Force sensitive. Mm-hmm. It kind of always bothered me.
We already had one.
Quite simply, I wanted a black Jedi.
We had one. Sam Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
He was a master.
He was the master.
Until he got blown out of a window by a faking ass.
He doesn't actually die, then. There's a whole bunch of comments about it.
I know.
Yeah, well, a lot of the speculation is that it's not that... nobody knows, but they're also talking about how maybe the term Jedi will be replaced with Skywalker. So people start calling Force-sensitive people... Skywalkers, yeah.
Boo.
Yeah. But...
Nope.
In that moment when she jumps over, does that flip, she's literally skywalking through the air, right?
I mean,
come on,
folks, you can't see me, but I'm eye rolling so hard, I actually took some of the paint off the walls in this motherfucker. It's crazy.
So it also has the same tagline as The Phantom Menace.
Are we not even going to talk about Palpatine laughing in this?
We're getting to it. We're going through it, man. Come on, one step by step.
Okay, my fault. Go ahead.
I
mean, I just got a bladder full of urine, so I was trying to just...
Oh, go. I'll just keep talking. Every generation has a legend. What did you think about... we'll just jump into it. What do you think about Lando?
I thought it's about
old,
time.
Man. He's 86.
I know, but I mean,
shit,
black
that's
don't
old.
Crack. He looked good for 86.
Shit, that's old.
How old is Harrison Ford's ass?
I don't think he's that old.
Well, I mean, not far from it.
Not far from it, but Jesus Christ, 86.
Yeah, well, Billy D's been a bad motherfucker for a long time.
Yeah,
he was pushing malt liquor to the black community real early.
For Carl Weathers. Oh. Not Carl Weathers, Billy D. Williams. Carl Weathers is in The Mandalorian, though.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I did see that. I was like, oh, is that Carl Weathers? I love seeing Carl Weathers work.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like for a black action superhero to just fall off the planet and not get any work after a certain time it's sad.
Action Jackson,
man. We should review that.
We should. What else? So there's a couple shots of like some A-wings. There's some other planets. There's Kylo Ren fighting with his saber. He doesn't have his mask on. But
then you see the mask later on, so we presume that we can assume, well, not presume, we can assume that.
How do you feel about all these retcons that seem to be happening? Like if they make, for example, if they make Rey a Skywalker, that's a retcon against sort of Rian Johnson saying your parents are nobody. Rian Johnson smashes Kylo Ren's helmet in The Last Jedi.
Well, he does.
J.J. Abrams... Well, yeah, but he wrote it. He created it. J.J. Abrams rebuilds the helmet.
Right.
or at least some guy with a hairy hand.
Okay, I guess I'm not up on the term retcon. What does that mean?
It means that people were unhappy with some of the choices that were made, quite a few of the choices made in The Last Jedi, and now J.J. Abrams, who's back in charge of the trilogy and of concluding the trilogy.
I get that, but what is the actual term? What is the short for retcon?
I never thought about it. Retcon. It's basically like when you have
rectifying comedy, or
no, I don't know what it's short for. It's basically when you have something that's set up in canon, and then later somebody changes that.
Somebody comes along and changes what is actual canon.
Yeah,
I guess I don't know that term really well, because I mean,
it's all over Star Wars right now, because people are talking about how that's exactly what J.J. Abrams is doing. He's changing things that Rian Johnson intended. At the beginning of Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams sets up all of these like mystery boxes, these questions about what's going to happen.
Right.
Where did the lightsaber come from?
Right.
Who are the Knights of Ren?
Right.
Who is Rey? Why is Luke on the island? So then when Rian Johnson picks up and starts writing the script without talking to J.J. Abrams, without coming together and saying, hey, what is this story? What did you intend? He just writes his own script and answers those questions.
But somebody this seems like a
Kathleen Kennedy greenlit.
Somebody greenlit that.
Yes, exactly.
That came from the top. So like,
as I've talked about in previous things, what happened was after Force Awakens with A New Hope, people got kind of like crotchety and were like, this is too much like A New Hope. Excuse me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they said, okay, Star Wars has got to go in a new direction. They pulled in Rian Johnson. He wrote his thing. He subverted all these expectations for better, for worse. I'm about like I like The Last Jedi, but it has issues.
I like The Last Jedi. It does have, like, with all of these movies, they all have issues.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it seems to me like it's either going to be one or two things.
Yeah.
Like, you remember how we were talking about how the Rocky franchise, do we need to be still making those Rocky movies, and how, like, now that it's turned over and it's now Creed, do we need to... I think Star Wars is suffering a little bit from that.
Yeah.
I think we've been with the Skywalkers for so long that people want to be so fucking precious about every little like nuance of the canon, and I think you need to just stop. Let it go.
Yeah,
it's not
I
that
agree.
like, honestly, I didn't mind it for me. These all seem to be the continuation of one. Like that whole tagline you were saying, the tagline, "A legend is born in
every generation." Yeah,
but obviously that legend's probably name's going to be fucking Skywalker.
Yeah,
and so maybe,
but I think what they're trying to do is find a way around that. So if you replace the name Jedi with Skywalkers, then you can end the overall Skywalker saga. So Kylo Ren ends up dying at the end of this. Princess Leia, she's no more. You know what I mean? Because Carrie Fisher's gone.
Right.
Luke is already dead. He's going to come back as a Force
But
ghost.
it doesn't end because it says that this one is titled Rise of Skywalker, which obviously means that some Skywalker who's presumably a Jedi will continue the Jedi Order.
Yes, exactly.
And this is what I'm saying. I feel like maybe the
Skywalker Order is the idea. Yeah.
And I think we've run the gamut on Skywalker's stories.
Yes.
I think we should, in the same way that, like, maybe we don't need to be making Rocky movies anymore, and we probably don't even need to be making Creed movies, or boxing movies like this. But like,
I'll watch another one.
But if we're talking Star Wars, I feel like we should probably if the fanboys are going to be so upset that you're playing with the story, like you're telling. Like I don't even.
They're already upset about replacing the word Jedi with Skywalker, and I've already watched videos about it.
And see, that's insane. And this is to my point is maybe we should just stop telling Skywalker stories.
Yeah.
Maybe the canon is now large enough and wide enough that we can pull in any figure. We could tell the Mandalorian could be a springboard for a whole other Star Wars kind of story.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing.
You know what I'm saying?
But we're just waiting for this episode 9 to catch up, and I'm excited for it. But at the same time, I'm also sort of like,
I mean,
I'm ready for Knights of the Old Republic. I'm ready for this fallen Jedi video game story that has nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
Well, you played those
Force Unleashed.
Yes. And apparently those weren't canon.
No,
and they should have been.
The first one was
really good.
The first one was canon. It was considered canon.
The first one was canon.
Yeah.
So Vader had who had found that all of that is canon.
This is the early 2000s.
So how is it that the first video game is canon but the second one is not?
Because it was bad.
I disagree.
People ignored it.
I disagree.
Yeah. No, the gameplay was fun, but the fact that they
they cloned him. They cloned the dead guy from the first one. It wasn't bad. It was okay. Actually kind of okay.
Yeah. I have them both actually. But the first one in particular is a very good story.
Well, the first one was so it came out of left field. No one had expected it, and then the gameplay was so great. They had to make it canon. I feel like if the gameplay had not been good, they could have easily been like, "Oh no, that's not canon."
Well, what they were doing,
that's what they did. It seems like what they did with the second one.
Lucasfilm at the time, what they were doing is anything that was released with their approval was considered canon. Then when Force Awakens came out, they retconned all that stuff to. This used the word retcon. They retconned all that stuff, and then now they call it Legends. So that stuff is no longer canon. It's called Legends.
So Force Unleashed 1 and is no longer canon.
Yeah,
exactly. No longer, but it was.
Yes, it was at the time. But when Disney took over Star Wars and bought Lucasfilm, in order to clean the slate so that they could write their magnum opus sequels. You know what I mean? They wanted to have as much free reign as they could.
So they basically wiped away those.
Yeah.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah. So the only things that existed
so
were...
we're supposed to just not remember that Vader did these things?
Yes. Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, that's that new generation that only looks at the movies, the prequels, the original saga, and the sequels, as well as the Clone Wars and Rebels, and now Resistance.
So the anime made it into canon.
Yes.
The anime, anything animated made it into canon, but none of the actual...
Not those Adult Swim cartoons, though. Those really good ones.
What Adult Swim cartoons?
By the guy who did Afro Samurai, or maybe it was Samurai Jack, one of those. You ever seen those? You've seen them. I have them. I'm giving to you. They are what the Clone Wars should have been. Not the cartoon, but the movies. You see like Yoda doing like amazing things. You see Mace Windu like taking on like 1,000 droids around him. No?
What?
I'll give them to you. They're amazing. They're so good.
What's it called?
Oh, just stay right here.
No, but what's it called? You don't remember?
It's called the Clone Wars.
You said Adult Swim? It was on Adult Swim.
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't make no sense.
Anyways, I've
seen all the animation.
Yeah. You must have seen these.
Is this 3D, right? This is the 3D joint?
No, this is 2D. Yeah. Regular traditional animation, brah. Anyway, so
okay.
Let's talk about the Emperor at the end here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you don't see him. You can, but they confirm. You hear him laugh. You hear the laugh, and you're like, "Is that?"
Yep.
And then JJ came out and was like, "Yeah, that's him. He's back."
Yeah. Well, Ian McDiarmid, the actor, came out and said, "Roll the clip again" at the end of the celebration. He came out on stage. Yeah.
Oh wow! So he was there.
Yeah. So the question is, how is he there in the film?
Right.
Because
he's got to be well over 1,000 years old or something.
No, I think he was young when he did Return of the Jedi. Because he's the same actor that's in the prequels, and now it's 7. I'm just saying
he went from the prequels to the originals.
Right, he's not Billy D. Williams old. Okay,
are you sure about that?
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm not talking about the actor. I'm talking about the character.
No,
the Emperor.
Well, he dies at the end of Return of the Jedi. That's the question.
We presume
he gets thrown down in that thing.
Right, he gets thrown down the Death Star.
Yeah,
that was the Death Star.
Death Star
right?
2. Yeah. Did you
and
notice?
It blows up.
Did you notice at the end of the trailer that when they walk out and they look at that kind of beach and there's all the waves kind of crashing? It's the Death Star has crash landed on that planet.
Oh, the debris of.
Yeah, the debris of. So,
is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you watch like Return of the Jedi, you can see it falling to.
Well,
Endor.
yeah, I see it falling, but like. In the trailer, that's what that debris is. We know that for sure. That is the debris of the Death Star.
Yeah, that's the dish of that Death Star.
Okay.
Yeah. So that for some reason, all of our characters
an explosion in space. Well, I mean, if Leia can fly through space,
well, you're assuming he's alive.
Well, I mean, if
there's other theories,
he's in the he's confirmed he's in the film. So unless he's in a flashback, which
just
seems disingenuous.
That would be
I doubt they would bring him out of retirement having made all. I would doubt that they would bring that dude and Billy D. Williams back for this final film, presumably.
Yeah.
And have him be a flashback.
What? Him coming back creates a bigger problem, though.
It does.
Yeah, because especially if you're going to name the Jedi Skywalker from this point on. Because what happens? Let's think about this.
See, but you're presuming that they're going to name the Jedi Order Skywalker.
I'm like
that's what, and I'm
75% sure,
and I'm going to be 90% sure that they're not going to.
Okay, I hope they don't.
Because you can't sell toys calling them all Jedi Skywalkers. Hey, Mom, let's go to the store and we can pick up the new Skywalker toy. Not gonna fucking happen.
Why?
Because that's lame and corny as fuck.
I agree with that, but
it's not gonna happen.
That never stopped anybody.
Like, hey, let's go to the store and get the new Legend, Jedi toys.
Yeah,
perfect.
Let's go get the new Skywalker. That's probably what kids call it, anyways.
No,
every kid want to either play with Skywalker or they want to play with Han Solo.
Not true at all. Lando Calrissian and Chew fucking Baca. Kill yourself.
I'm talking about the white guy. Some of the white kids here.
Right. I forgot. This is America.
I had Lando. I had Chew. And Daisy's favorite favorite character was Chewbacca. Or is Chewbacca. No, okay, so prequels happen. Yeah. Anakin's supposed to be the chosen one. Anakin Skywalker. He's a Skywalker. Supposed to be the chosen one, right? He ends up going to the dark side, destroys the Jedi. Right?
Clearly
his
not.
son comes back.
Supposed to be bring balance to the Force.
The Skywalker supposed to bring balance to the Force.
Does not.
Gets Luke. Yeah, kills the Emperor. Right? Or
assumably,
basically,
we think
Vader kills the Emperor, but it gets Vader to come to the light side. Right?
That's the balance.
Okay. So Yoda is like, "Hey, go start your own Jedi temple in Return of the Jedi." That's what he says for the most part. Now it doesn't say. Help the Jedi live and regrow. It's what some version of what Yoda says, right?
Uh-huh.
So then we get to the sequels, right?
Right.
And Luke has his own Jedi temple. His prize student, number one student, falls to the dark side, right? And destroys the temple.
Right.
Luke goes into hiding on this island, and
right.
it's just like, I came here to die, right? Comes back.
I felt like I don't think it was I came here to die. I feel like
he literally says that.
I came here. Does he say that?
Yeah, he says I came to this island to die.
No, that's it, and that's your boy Rain Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's trash.
That's trash. Exactly.
It's trash.
You took the greatest character
and made him lame as fuck.
This is why fans were upset that you took the guy who would never give up on Darth Vader, on his dad, who believed that there was good in his dad, and made him give up
on his nephew.
On his nephew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Well. It was well,
and now the Emperor's not even dead. So basically,
I feel like JJ's got back at the helm of this, right?
Yeah.
I feel like JJ has a plan for this.
Yeah.
That dude doesn't do bullshit.
He doesn't end things well, though.
You think so?
Oh, because Lost had the most. When everybody talks about Lost, they talk about how great the ending is.
I'm not talking about Lost because I couldn't watch.
The ending of
I
that
didn't like
movie,
Lost.
Super 8. Great setup. The ending, botched.
Super 8 was kind of a let down.
Mission Impossible 3. I don't remember.
But I like that start. The Star Trek reboot was great.
And Wrath of Khan was amazing as well. No. Into Darkness? No.
I didn't. I liked Into Darkness.
I liked it too, but it didn't.
He
didn't finish the third movie because he was making Force Awakens. But I think a lot of people feel like the sequel trilogy has undone the previous two trilogies just for the sake of having a new trilogy with the Skywalker and Han Solo and Princess Leia.
You say
characters.
People? Do you mean fanboys?
I mean anybody who cares about movies.
Because I care, and I don't think they've been undone. I do not feel like the canon has been undone by these films. Okay. I do not. Right. I feel like some of it doesn't work. I feel like some of it does. Mm-hmm. I feel like J.J. Abrams could fix a lot of this with a really good script. If this third one, if he comes with it,
agree.
Writing-wise, I think none of that other shit will matter if you can make it work right now.
I totally agree. But just a second ago, you were upset that basically Luke literally says, I came to this island to die.
I'm upset. I definitely did say that I'm upset with some of the choices they made, but it didn't ruin.
They
neuter
Finn in the second movie.
They neuter Finn, but they also introduce a female character who's strong and like the fact that
talking about Rey or Kelly Marie Tran.
Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah, I loved her character.
Because initially I was thinking that the love thing was going to be Finn and Rey, and I was gung ho for that. I was like, oh, this seems awesome. That's great. I would love to see that happen. And then they go left with that, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
But it didn't ruin the films for me. It was a different take, and there was something like the whole Leia floating in space thing. I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. But like
that's a weird moment that I really liked. Yeah.
And so having decompressed violently into space,
Well-
she's able to survive based on the jet. Like
In the original-
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Basically what I'm saying is I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
If you expound on it, if you're gonna have the Emperor show up in this third one, then you have to explain how he gets there based on the fact that it's something really cool Jedi wise or
But he's not Jedi, he's a Sith. The Sith
force based.
Yeah, well, the Sith cannot come back as Force ghosts, and that's why they're so obsessed with power and.
That I understand, but
Yeah.
maybe the Emperor is the first one. Maybe he,
Sure.
like I'm saying, like if you tell me a
Or-
story where it makes sense, where the Emperor does, like I'm excited for it.
Or the Emperor has figured out a way to prolong his life and has been controlling Kylo Ren the whole time, thinking, and Kylo Ren thinks it's Snoke, but it's actually been the Emperor. Because think about, okay, real quick, we're going to wrap up here in just a second. At the beginning of The Force Awakens, right? Or not the beginning, somewhere in The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren has Darth Vader's helmet. Okay? Where was Darth Vader's helmet?
It was burned, presumably burned on his pyre.
In what planet?
Endor.
Okay. And at the end of this trailer, when they're about to go into that big Death Star 2 that we see, that's also on Endor. So there's presumably, yes, it could be another moon. That's all because Endor's.
They've had a bunch of Death Stars.
Yeah, a bunch of Death Stars. Could be whatever, but the first one looked whatever.
Yeah.
They both look like they really blew up. You know what I mean? But you actually see pieces falling to Endor. So the idea is that maybe Kylo Ren went to Endor and got Vader's helmet, but while he was there, something awoke in him. Maybe the Emperor, right? Maybe not. Maybe the Emperor's been pulling the strings the whole time, which makes sense for who the Emperor is, right? He pulled the strings and orchestrated the fall of the Republic, right?
Since the way back.
Created the Empire.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that
And
he
that's-
figured out a way to either clone himself or prolong his life.
Well, maybe not cloning, because you said cloning would make sense if the Force Unleashed were still canon. But since those aren't canon anymore,
No, Force. What are you talking about?
the video games.
Oh, Force Unleashed. Excuse me.
Where they actually
Yes.
do clone a Sith.
Yeah. Well, in the comic book as well, which the Dark Horse comics that came out after Return of the Jedi.
You read those?
Yeah. Have them appear somewhere.
Oh.
And they're there. I'll give them to you.
And they
I think it's like Dark Force Rises.
And do they expound on?
Yeah, they're not very good. But yeah, the Emperor basically, he finds this is also a lot of speculation about where the lightsaber's sighing. I can tell you're tired, but we do it really quick. At Force Awakens, they find Luke's lightsaber, right? In I believe comics that were considered canon that are now considered legends, the Emperor finds Luke's hand as well, and lightsaber, and clones Luke from that hand. So there was a period of time before The Force Awakens came out, but after the trailer, where people were like, maybe Luke has been cloned, because that was what happened in the comics. They have his lightsaber. Where does the lightsaber come from? Maz Kanata's like, it's a story for another time. Fuck you, it's a story for now. Maz. Tell us the fuck now.
You're fucking gonna die in like a fucking page.
Tell us the fuck now, god damn it. We have time. Add 5 minutes to this movie.
But that's your boy
For God's
Rain.
sakes.
That's your boy Rain.
No, that was actually J.J. Abrams.
Oh, that was the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess
that was J.J. Abrams doing like, and then Rain Johnson was like, I don't know the answers in these questions, so we'll just subvert the expectations. Kill Snoke. Blah, blah, blah.
I do like how they kill Snoke, though. That was cool.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I don't know.
do you want to do this for another hour?
Nah,
I can, man.
I mean, I definitely, I'm out. I'm out of things to talk about it on. I just, there's not enough information for me to make a real good judgment call on it. For what I've seen, I like. And if J.J. Abrams is back at the helm, then I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm hopeful too.
So
it's like a new hope.
Bump. And should we wrap it right here? Just bow tie it with a nice little screen?
I'm your host, Lawrence Style. You can find us on whatweinto@gmail.com. Rob's nodding his head.
No, I thought you were going to list it. That was me getting into the list. Gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
And then
Patreon.com/whatweinto. Dial_Lawrence on Twitter. What We Into Podcasts on Instagram. What We Into on Facebook. Rob's email and home address is here. You can send him lovin'.
I'm your boy, Rob Karma Robinson, and this is What We Into.
What is your I don't want to stop. Let's just keep going. What is the one thing out of everything that you want from the new Star Wars? Or what is the one thing in general that you want from Star Wars in the next 30 years of our lives to happen?
In the next 30 years of our lives?
Yeah. Anything at all.
I want to be in one of those films.
Nice. Yeah.
I want to be in one of those films as a major character, not somebody that gets broomed away. I want to be Son of Lando.
Yeah. I don't need the Jedi at all, but I want somebody discovering their Force powers. Like, to me, that's one of the most interesting things. It's like somebody discovering their Force powers, learning what they can do, and then utilizing that in a good story about them as a person. It doesn't have to be intergalactic.
I wouldn't mind seeing the shelf of Force powers expand a little bit. We've seen super jump. We've seen force control. We've seen mind manipulation. I wouldn't mind seeing what other, like, if this is a power that runs through all things and all life forms, I wouldn't mind seeing someone who can manipulate midichlorians in a way that we haven't even thought about before.
Yeah, you could do anything.
Just about. Yeah. And I think a lot of the anime, like Rebels and some
They're
of it,
getting into that.
They explore some of it, like some of these force sensitive other creatures, not just like humanoids or Jedis, but like there's an episode in Rebels where that force creature like not dies, but like takes on another form and basically becomes like the atmosphere in the planet.
The back to or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, basically he becomes like a storm cloud and just starts raining down like electrical storms on the Empire. I like to see the canon of force powers expand.
Yeah,
and see where, like, if what it can possibly, it can do just about anything, right? So let's see where what that means for new generations.
And a Wookiee with a lightsaber.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So cool.
Which we see in the anime.
Do we?
Yeah.
What part?
I don't remember. There were Wookiee younglings.
Oh,
if you go at, like, there was a Wookiee who was led into the Jedi. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there was a Wookiee with a lightsaber, because one of them, remember there's the episode where they have to go into the cave to find their own personal crystals, and they have to get out before a certain time and before the temple will shut or something,
right? And
one of them is a Wookiee.
Oh, you're right,
because he has his lightsaber has a wooden fucking handle on it.
Yeah, well, that's another thing I'm bringing up. Is like, Rey basically has to rebuild her lightsaber, which means she had to commune with that kyber crystal in it the same way that Luke did.
Which, in thinking about that, the Fallen Order
video game,
doesn't he have a wooden lightsaber? Doesn't his lightsaber have a weird hilt to it?
What there was, it's something. It's weird. He picks up. It looks like he has a battle against somebody. He beats them and then he takes a piece from it.
Weird lightsaber.
I know. You know what I think? Here's what I think happens. I think the beginning part of the game, he doesn't have a lightsaber. Okay, because he's pretty much given up. If anybody sees a lightsaber, they're gonna know it's him, and he's gonna be dead. So he ends up saving his buddy. He has to go on the run. He ends up fighting somebody who has some version of a lightsaber, some kyber crystal in it. He takes that. He makes his own lightsaber. Oh, you know what we didn't even talk about? We didn't talk about Shikiro Shadows Die Twice that I've been playing. We'll talk about it next week. But it's the same.
I meant to ask you about it at the top.
It's the same thing that happens in that game. It's like you spend the first 10 minutes running around without a sword, and then you get your sword. And that's what that's going to be, I think, is what you're talking about with Fallen Order. Yeah.
I see.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Lawrence Dial.
I'm your boy, Rob Karma Robinson.
Peace out.
See you next week.